Hello, all of you delightful beings out there, and welcome to our stream. I am Razim, and this is Data Anomaly Hunter's Scar, Season 2, Episode 12, Delving into the Underbrush. This is one of our Digimon tabletop RPG campaigns being run with our custom Scar system, or Stories and Creatures in Alternate Realities. This system is available for open playtest on our Discord as well as on itch.io, so do go take a look at it and let us know what you think. But for now, we'll go and get started. We do have Conrad here doing some art. You'll see him after the beginning art scroll. And now we'll let Zerta begin introductions.
I am Zerta the Fox, and we are going to have a fun romp around the forest today. Nothing bad can happen in a forest. It's so peaceful. Right, Arcus?
Hi, I'm Gimund, and I'm playing Folker, the very timid Harrismon, who is trapped in Arcus's body. They are an electric basic type, also Zim typical. On to the Asher.
Ah, yes. I am Razim, and I am playing as Asher, the Labramon, Astral Light type, God of Death, Lord of Evil, and currently about to commit crimes against the storyteller, but they are not war crimes because he is not a person. Off to the minion.
Hello, y'all. I'm IDDoThings, or Ido if you prefer, and I play Haboku, the Lugamon, Necrotic Fire, currently in a state of undeath, minion of Asher, and just generally confused about a lot of stuff. He's also in a forest that feels a lot like him for some reason. And on to the Jace.
Ido, did you move your mic back?
I did not.
Well, now you sound better, so.
Well, no, now you're breathing into the mic and stuff.
No, I'm saying, like, now he sounds better because it sounded like he moved back again. Like it was more distant again.
I don't know. I'm not hearing too much of a difference from him.
I did, but maybe it's just program weirdness. One way or the other, hi, I'm Drunk Dragonair. I'm going to be playing Jace, the Black Gilliamon X that is a Shadow Mythic type, and not the reason why your bread goes missing sometimes when you're not looking. No, he's not interdimensionally a problem. And Zerta may or may not be in the hot seat for losing bread for the rest of his existence. Not a war crime. Kotora.
Hello everybody, I'm Raharu and I'll be playing Kotora, the mythic fire type Gabumon, and he has a lot of emotions that he needs to internalize after what happened last session. Do you Tal?
Hello, I'm Taldirus, and I'll be playing Riv, the mythic water type Vorvamon, who, well, out of game, I apparently had bronchitis for like the past week, and I just didn't know. I'm back. I'm actually on medicine now, and Riv had an interesting time last session, even though he was busy, depending on who you asked, alternatively T-posing or asleep.
Or both.
T-posing while asleep.
I mean, you're just one step away from split. On to the session.
Now for the recap.
Oh, yes.
A generous bestowal.
On to the donation.
Tip, not donation.
Traditional bread.
Oh.
Bread. Infinite bread.
Yeah, legally they are not donations. I am not streamers
Not
are
a
not a charity.
Yep. So who gets the infinite bread? Is it me or Jace? Because I know there's not enough infinite bread for the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Also, thank you for
You
the
can also give
tip,
it to Eric.
Demon. That's the first tier of the tip goal completed. And for the recap, go for it, Tal, since you watched it today.
He has bronchitis.
Okay, fair. Go for it.
A generous bestowal.
Okay, that one's off the table because they tipped.
IDDoThings
Go
$20
for it, Kotora.
Okay. Uh, I do believe that we kind of began last session by kind of waking up and realizing that apparently there was we woke up and there was trees all around us when we decidedly set up camp in at the outskirts of the forest. So that was something that was bizarre. Jace was the one that woke up first and noticed this discrepancy, and then Kotora then Kotora got woken up. Jace went off to whatchamacallit, scout ahead to see what is going on. Everybody else began waking up except for Rib, and people began just doing their daily preparations. Kotora was cooking up, was trying to cook to make the ratios into good ratios. Volker was still lying down on his bed inside his tent for a while. What was Haboku doing again? Haboku and Asher?
Quick check. How does this sound?
Much better. For now, at least.
Asher
Yeah.
was refusing to wake up. I remember that.
He
Haboku
asked for
was
5 more
present.
minutes and then he woke up.
Haboku was doing a lookout out, but he was staying near the camp.
Yeah.
That's when he noticed the forest felt like felt as dead as he did.
Yeah. The forest is as dead as me. But yeah, Haboku was doing that, and once he realized that, he kind of went to Kotora to tell him about it, and it took a moment to realize that no, yes, the forest is kind of dead. There's nary a sound to be heard except for the sounds that we make. There's no Digimon or any other fauna. So with the forest just suddenly moving around us and the forest that it's surrounding us being completely silent, we were kind of very we, we were kind of very preoccupied, and we decided that we probably needed to leave pretty soon, just deeper into the forest. And that's when shenanigans began to happen because Kotora decided to check up on Riv. And Riv seemed to be just sleeping soundly. He had a bit of a bizarre smile on his face, though, but it didn't seem all that strange to Korra. Oh boy! But then strange things began occurring inside of the tent, like I believe music began sounding out of it. Jace came back and Haboku and Jace noticed that the singing that was occurring, and they tried approaching Ribs' tent, and when they attempted that, a big gust of wind just blew them away, and Rib was no longer inside of the tent. Which
No, Riva's still in the tent.
The wind was no longer inside of the tent.
the wind was no longer inside of the tent. But at some point, Rib got carried away by something. No.
No,
Jace
you
had
no, they
came
just
out
the
tent.
wind left.
Okay.
Riv got carried away by you guys.
Yeah,
No, yeah. I was misremembering. But yeah, after that little incident inside of the tent, Kotra went to check up on Rib and actually asked Asher to do a medical checkup on him. The all refracting. And Asher ended up finding out that apparently some data was missing from Rib, which ended up sending Kotora into a bit of a panic of a panic induced a temperature flare up. And we kind of figured that whatever entity what had created the wind and is making all that music is what took Rib's data. We ended up, if I remember correctly, I believe Haboku was the one that ended up finding the tracks for that. We were following its sound.
Sound and slight smell. Very, very faint kind of smell that was all around.
Yeah. So we Kotora was, well, Kotora wanted to carry Rib, but the moment he couldn't anymore because his temperature was high. So Asher ended up carrying Rib on his back while we were moving and trying to track whatever this thing was. We ended up in a certain location where the wind was stronger and we could hear the music. And Jace kind of got the idea to maybe begin playing for this thing. I believe it's to try to communicate with it.
Improv concert.
Yeah, improv concert. That
I was
went on.
challenged.
Yeah.
And specifically, Haboku was howling like a dog in him.
Yeah. And Fogger ended up being the one that heard the voice more clearly than the rest of us. Although I forgot what it said to Fogger.
I
Like,
think it was
same,
new
but
friend
different.
wants to help new friend.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that.
And also same but different.
Yeah. Same but different. Want to help new friend. And I'm actually drawing a blank on how the sequence of events happened after that.
I can take over a little bit, and after that, after the Falco was in a ball essentially, and the voice was trying to calm them down because they realized that they were having like a lot of stress. But then after they started hearing the music, they swirled around Jace. And they tried to start taking Haboku's because they thought that Haboku was trying to help them, and Jace was trying to help them. But since Jace was just playing their guitar and Haboku was singing, they thought that since Haboku was trying to help them, they would take the voice of Haboku or some of the data that Haboku had and was trying to use that to reform themselves. And when Asher realized what was going on, Asher stopped the data link between Haboku and the thing, and then gave all of Rigiri's data over to the creature, who ended up swirling around a bunch in a wind kind of form, very a lot of wind themed with them. And then they formed a new Digimon after they purified the data that was given to them and made it their own. They formed into a small gray blob of a Digimon with like two little eyes, and it was just like a gray blob with just two little eyes. And they said,
It's a baby Digimon.
yeah, the baby Digimon, the little slimes of the world. And then everyone was kind of stunned, and Asher was looking at it a lot. Well, I guess everyone was looking. And then because Asher was carrying Riv, Asher, the slime was going closer to Asher, saying that they need to give back what they took. And they gave back the data in a more pure form, oddly enough, than what they initially took. And Riv got slightly boosted, not only got back some of the data that was taken from them, but also the data that was given back to them was actually in a much more pure form that was basically a buff to Riv in a small capacity, and that stirred Riv enough to not exactly wake up. They were unconscious at the end of the session, but they started breathing perfectly fine. It was more like they were sleeping. Then they mentioned that they didn't have a name at all because they don't really know how they got destroyed. They don't know why they got destroyed, but they wanted to reform, at least because of that determination of life, and Riv decided to name them Mir. I think that's how you say it.
Yep, Mir.
Mir.
With the explanation of it being he doesn't use the last part of his name anyway, so
Yeah, because Riv's full name is Rivamir.
And Riv gave the name Mir, and now Mir is very much attached to Riv. But since they were just kind of very much baby Digimon, they can't really do much. But they did mention how before they met everyone, they found a small kind of hut-looking thing, or at least to them, like they weren't really too sure what it was, but it was some kind of docile or some kind of home. And then Asher collected the slime off of I forget.
hey guys, we have
story
the dociles and the talls now.
we got the domiciles.
Another dociles now.
I forget. I forget the docile homes. I forget why Asher was trying to collect the slime of the baby Digimon. I forget what properties I gave it. I gave it some kind of properties. But
Refrigerant.
refrigerant. Oh yeah, because it was a wind based, so like it was a very refrigerant kind of cooling around them. Yeah, so let's see. I gotta put cooling slime now, as you guys are apparently collecting this Digimon's like cooling slime. But after that, you guys found it technically abandoned. It is a abandoned farmhouse, but all of the stuff in the farmhouse was completely devoid of life. And everything in it, even the jars that should have had something that looked completely sealed and named, still seemed to have nothing in it, as if whatever was in it was taken from it without the jar itself even being opened. And Folger was not able to handle the hoe, so he took a sickle instead. And it is an extremely fine sickle, and it is a branded sickle of very high quality make. Whatever Digimon was previously here must have spent a lot of time around this sickle and using it as one of their major crafts, as it seemed finer than all the other tools. And Folger felt a need to keep it as a kind of token or maybe remembrance of the place to maybe return it back to where it originally came from one day.
Yeah, we kind of after we were searching for it, after we were searching the barn for a while, we kind of concluded that the forest must have grown around the barn just like it grew around us earlier, and we kind of got this bit of a theory thanks to some of the information that Jace has, because fun fact, apparently Jace also has data manipulation powers that he hasn't told us about. And it's something that was apparently taught to him by the forest guardian. And we have kind of had this theory that perhaps the forest guardian is using the live data of other things to expand the forest unnaturally.
That's a possibility. It's just a theory. That's just a theory, though. It's just an unproven theory.
Mm-hmm. Well, whatever it is, it's not. We're not really thinking of even confronting the dude. We have a job to do here, and so we're setting up to do that.
And I will say you guys woke up moderately in the morning after some brief encounters with breakfast and a potential flying little elephant thing that apparently steals food from camps.
That was a lie made up by Asher. Unless you want to actually make the Bakumon real.
I mean, Bakumons exist. We all know this time it didn't steal food from your camp.
I know Bakumons exist.
He's saying that it's going to
They
be
don't-
the boy who cried wolf situation soon.
For what
Also, Zerda?
actually happened. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just got
Go
a
ahead.
quick question for Zerda. Why he keeps on trying to put us off into different groups? First he's trying to guess our color, then he's trying to decide if we're dirty or clean, and then he's trying to decide if we're tall or short.
It's important for how the world sees you and how you see the world.
All right, so what I'm hearing is soon enough, Zerda's power rankings of what he gives each character is going to be based off of how likely they are to jump out the window.
Not incorrect.
Indeed.
I mean, if you want to add some, window vaulting, if you want an EXP discount to window vaulting, and we can talk about that movement ability. We got like Assassin's Creed, like window vaulting style.
So what actually happened with the Kotora situation? Oh, I was gonna go with the Kotora situation.
Oh yeah,
So, yeah, Kotora was making breakfast, and Fulgur ended up smelling the breakfast and snuck past Kotora. But yeah, and took one of the rations that they were made for breakfast. But he wasn't as stealthy as he thought he was, but Asher didn't say anything really about it. But Kotora was none the wiser. And have Fulgur thinking no one saw him take his breakfast, went back to his tent. And then I believe after the first check-in with Riv that Kotora did, Kotora came back and found out that one of his rations was gone, which ended up causing Asher to go into riddle mode for the Kotora until Jace showed up and helped clear things out.
I think
But
Jace
Ash-
basically failed their ability. They rolled their insight check against Asher.
Is
Yeah,
this
but
Asher
he-
being Asher again? Yes, it's Asher being Asher again. Moving on.
And eventually through Jace and Asher interactions with Kotora in all the riddle things, it was eventually found out that Fulgur was indeed the ghost that Asher was talking about in the riddle. And Kotora went off to Fulgur's tent and found out, yep, Fulgur took the ration. And then there was
And then
a
Asher took the
conversation about that.
Then Asher proceeded to take a ration after that without Kotora seeing, and the Kotora's food just kept slowly getting snatched.
No, Asher only took one, but then tried to get another.
Kotora was having none of that.
And Fulgur, I don't think you actually we'll actually start here because, like I said, you mentioned this. I know you mentioned something in private about the sickle. If you want to expand on that at all, you can. About how
I
you're
didn't
feeling,
really-
or what you were feeling about it or anything.
I think that would be kept to more himself right now.
Okay. But yeah, that's kind of everything, and you guys, you haven't really traveled through the forest that much, so you're at maybe what would be the equivalent of one-ish, but as you look up, there is only just this very, very faint seeing of any kind of sun, because the light through the trees is so thin that you can tell that the sun is still out, but that is about as far as you can tell. You can't really track its position or where it is in the sky or how close it is to anything. You can only make a rough estimate of how long its time has passed itself. But you are at the farmhouse for right now, as that's where we left off. If you'd like to explore the farmhouse, you may. Well, explore it further, I should say.
I don't know, weren't we gonna leave right away because we don't want to be hanging around too long in this weird ass environment?
Yeah.
That is also fair too. That's actually a question to you guys.
No, yeah, I think we kind of decided last session that we were just gonna be moving further after
Yeah.
we were done theorizing what the heck is going on.
That's where we kind of that's where we left it. We left it there to see, kind of tell where you guys are going to be headed.
I think we're
So
gonna
whoever would
continue our
like to
trip.
explore it, yeah. If anyone
No,
wants
we-
to explore it, speak up. Otherwise, Jay seems to be moving on.
Nothing. And Haboku will be following, probably doing his best to keep watch.
Kotora is now the one carrying Rib, and he's moving onwards.
I'll say as you are progressing on through the forest, you have a general enough direction of where you're going. The forest may be dense, but with Jace, give me a survival roll just for just kind of a actually I think navigation is double check. Yeah, navigation roll.
Gotcha. Somebody else will have to roll the navigation then. Somebody that's good at that. I'm good at survival.
I'll say you can use survival to aid in the navigation check.
Okay. Who's good at
Who's leading the
navigation this
pack?
party?
I have 2 dots.
I have
Cool,
one.
take a
Does
plus.
anyone? What about
So
Kotora?
plus,
No, Kotora only has 1 dot. Fulgur is better.
We'll take 2 extra dots there, Fulgur.
Jace can take 3 survival from Haboku.
Oh no, I'm adding on to.
Yeah.
I'm adding on to whoever's rolling, which sounds like it's
Fulgur?
Volga with
Vulgar.
their 2 dots in navigation. 2 dots is the highest anyone can navigate.
I can give
Yeah,
1
Asher
teamwork
is
to
mad.
Kotora. I can give 1
It's
teamwork to
ironic
Kotora.
that is Volga just going to navigate while in Jace's arms.
yep.
Go that direction.
So
Go.
Kotora is giving
Um,
1 teamwork.
Yes.
Asher can do 2 teamwork instead.
I think Jace has. Do you have 3 survival, Jace?
I have 2.
Okay. then.
Somebody
It'd
else
be
has
2.
3.
Okay.
Yeah, Haboku has 3.
Okay, then yeah, go ahead and take the 3 dice from the Haboku survival then.
So a bonus of +5 total.
Yeah.
Just to make math
So
easy.
you guys are all working together for this. Like, you guys aren't, just letting one person do all of it. You guys are working together for the common goal of moving forward.
Ermagerd, we
Is
can
it-
actually work together.
Holy shit! What a skill! It's unheard of.
A D&D party or a tabletop party working together? Gasp! What is this? Who's stabbing who?
That is a lot of threes.
The SCAR system is
Can I
very much
offer you a
built
3?
around encouraging teamwork.
It's
There was
almost
more-
like
there
it's
was-
one of the best parts of our system.
There was more 3s than there were successes. There was 5 3s if I'm counting that correctly, and only 4 successes.
That's still 4 successes.
It
yeah.
is 4 successes, I'll give you that. I'm just like, why the... No, that actually works perfectly fine. You guys are actually on track, though. Fulgur, is doing what they're doing. They're kind of pointing out some various things. Well, it isn't exactly a cave. or some sort of ruin, the trees themselves do pose their own natural danger of just the proximity as well as the roots and all. So Volgo being able to distinguish, from cave to forest to ruin, they're being able to handle it enough. Haboku helping with their survival, the teamwork of everyone else working together. You guys feel like you are progressing in the right directions, in the right direction, and it about 2 hours have passed. You do start feeling Koto, you specifically start feeling a little bit of rustling as Riv seems to be coming too. Also, Mia seems to be trailing right behind you, Koto. Almost every step you take, they take one step behind you in their little blobby form. So you do end up feeling some movement among your back.
Kotora is blinking as he notices the movement, and he just looks behind him for a moment. He's going to stop. He's going to stop for a moment and just put Rib down.
You're right.
Rib, are you waking up?
If you feel yourself start to come to, though definitely not where you were expecting to come to, as you don't last remember being. You remember being in a forest? You remember the forest above you having, the light peeking through the trees? Or, I guess in this case, it wouldn't be, but you remember yourself being on the outskirts of a forest and a very faint encounter, though your head's a little bit fuzzy at the moment. But you do start to come to as you hear voices around you, one being Kotora, especially as you hear that voice.
All right. Well, you said that he feels his head being fuzzy, right?
Yeah, just that morning fuzzy, not like
Okay.
legitimate confusion, but just that morning, like, kind of fuzzy.
Regardless, Riv is still going to run through a little like minor mental checklist of like, okay, wait, hold on. Does my memory have gaps in it again? Did my brain get scrambled again? He's not saying this out loud, but this is just like what he's thinking immediately. Because he's used to that kind of just happening and then having to fix it, so. But after a little bit, he will open up his eyes and then probably have to squint immediately because I get the feeling that he's probably like, you when you put him down, you put him like facing the canopy, right?
Yeah.
It's a very, very dim setting. It's very dim around here. No direct sunlights on your face yet.
That's fair, but still, he is going from enforceably passed out for a while to, oh, hey, wow,
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
So he'll probably still, like, squint a bit, and then just go, hey, wait, this wasn't where I fell asleep.
Kotora is immediately going to give Rib a bear hug.
No, Kotora, you're kind of squeezing a bit, Kotora.
I know.
Okay, well, I'm still kind of made of rock. I don't think it's the best to like hug me that close.
I'm aware, but I need to do this right now. I'm sorry. And Kotora is eventually gonna let go after doing that for a bit. You feeling all right?
Little bit confused, but I think that's more just because I was kind of asleep for a while and now I'm in a different place.
Yeah. You and I need to have a talk later. You have some things to explain if you can remember.
Oh
You
wait, yeah,
see-
someone was asking me for help, and then I said yes, and then I kind of like passed out.
Kotora is gritting his teeth in a scary smile. Yes, exactly that.
Well, they didn't exactly say what they wanted help with. It was just a voice asking for help, and then so I wanted to help, and then it wasn't really explained, and then I kind of passed out.
Kotora is hiding is hiding his frustration. Hey. Let's talk about this when we actually set up camp. We're moving right now.
Okay.
Riv, you see you do see a small, and also you would see this too, Kotora. You see a small gray blob that you don't recognize, Riv. A small gray blob that kind of gets up close to you and is jiggling happily near you. You hear a slight hymn coming from the just a very faint hymn coming from the blob itself, but obviously it has no mouth. It seems to be manipulating the wind itself to create noise within the wind, as if it is like a whistle on the woods.
I was gonna look between Kotora and the blob a little bit and just go, "Oh, hey, did you guys make a friend too?"
Kotora is rubbing his chin.
Friend.
I suppose you could say that. I think this is. I do believe that this is the thing that you were asked to help out earlier.
Oh.
Yeah, it's produces some stuff that can be used for refrigeration. I think we're gonna make a killing with them.
That might just be because I think it took some of my data and I kind of just naturally cooled everything.
Ah, that would explain it. Either way, gotta be really good money.
Okay, well, please don't monetize someone that was asking for help.
He said that his name is Mir.
Oh, yeah, this is the same one. Yeah, I don't really use the last half of my name anyway. They were talking about how they couldn't remember their name, so I figured that they could use the part of my name that I don't really use.
Kotora is going to nod. Yes, Rivamir. I am quite aware of that.
Mir.
Okay, but you like never use my full name unless. Oh.
Kotora nods.
So, Riv, recommended reading The Fae.
I can offer a lot of insight on the Fae.
I mean, I am always more than willing to learn about new things, so, sure. I'm still gonna be helping you with your stuff first because I feel like that's kind of more important.
Fae. Help. Friend. And Fae.
But he seems like he likes helping people.
Well,
So-
he just wanted to exist again. So, I guess mission accomplished in this regard. But he also kind of explained to us, the forest is at the moment we're in a section of the forest that is there's no there is no life around us. We're the only creatures here, as far as we know.
But wait, then how does that work when there's supposed to be like a whole ecosystem thing going on? There's supposed to be a bunch of things in a place.
The forest is we kind of think that the forest is getting naturally expanded because we're in a section of the we're in a section that shouldn't be the forest area, but we are clearly in the middle of forest. We were in a farm earlier that was surrounded by forests, and those aren't usually surrounded by forests. We also when we woke up, we set up camp in the outskirts of the forest, and we woke up in the middle of the forest. So unless we were forcibly relocated, the only possible explanation is that the forest grew around us somehow.
Oh.
Yeah, we started moving again because we saw no reason hanging around a dead zone. felt it might be more dangerous to just hang around and do nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know, it kind of felt nice to me.
Of course, you did my little death monkey.
So, Riv,
Yeah.
we did find something interesting in that farmhouse. As he looks towards
what'd you find?
Kotora.
Kotora's looking at Fugger. Oh yeah. The lack of food, rather. It was like there were food containers that were just kind of, their food was not inside of them, but there was no signs of it ever being open. It just like kind of disappear.
So, like, when you're saying containers, are you talking like sealed jars?
Yes. It's like whatever food was inside of it just kind of disappear without opening the containers.
Ah. I mean, I guess there's a lot of reasons that I think that could potentially happen, but I don't know what's really likely.
Well, there is another thing that we have learned. Apparently, the forest guardian is somebody that is actually has data manipulation capabilities. It's apparently a skill that him and his ilk learned and employ.
I'm going to make a guess and say that they don't use it to be medics or something.
Kotora is looking at Jace.
No, we're taught limited skills to usually make the killing easier.
I now have a much worse feeling about being here.
Very much so. And that's what we're just trying to head to the location that we're supposed to investigate. We're like, go ahead.
I did warn y'all that it was really dangerous out here.
Yeah. It's even more bizarre than we thought we were gonna find.
Yeah, and the thing is, apparently, all these. He makes like quotation marks. Trees are the same.
Oh, that's not
Oh
good.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's like they were copy and pasted.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, so about that moving head thing.
Yeah, so we were trying to find Naoki, right?
Yes.
So yeah, we should probably get on that.
Yeah, let's haul. We're like 3 days away, or 2.5 now.
It'll be like 2.5 when you finish your rest. Judging on like navigation and survival and such.
All right, let's get going.
Riba's gonna look towards Mir real quick and just be like, okay, so don't take any of my data again, because that could be actually really dangerous, but here, and he's just gonna like pick up Mir and like put him on his shoulder.
You see it begin to jiggle happily. You feel a slight cooling sensation as the slime makes contact with your scales, and it is a pleasant cooling sensation. You feel a bit of like your own. It's kind of like a little bit of your own cooling element, but in a different form. It's almost a companionship in some way. It feels nice.
Yep. Riv is just assuming that this is likely because it took data from him, and one of his, primary active things is the cool
Yeah.
stuff. So he's just kind of assuming that that's the cause of that one.
It also glows just a tiny bit. Just a little bit. It just kind of glows a little bit. You see it produces, kind of like it exudes a little bit of light too as well. That makes it 3 elements right now.
Oh.
What could possibly go wrong?
That isn't unstable at all.
Question. Is it like a
Yes.
similar light and color to his marking?
No, it is light because of Ragiri's data, and Ragiri was light based. So it is actually a little physical kind of light. It's kind of like it's kind of like one of those. Have you ever seen those cat lamps or whatever? They're like little plushing cat lamps. It's kind of like that, where it just kind of glows a little bit.
Ah.
So Volker, all that he knows is it just mirrors glowing because he doesn't know really anything about Ragiri.
But I will say, as you all getting deeper down, as you're moving towards the forest, you do start to pick up a feeling of a sense. You've gone some pretty decent distance. I would say you're closer to the 6 or 7 mark, moving and then stopping a little bit, moving and then stopping a little bit. But after a bit, you do get to what you feel has something more. You almost can pick up the sounds of a few very small insects in the distance. Some of the life seems to be going back to the forest from around you, but it is very, very thin at the moment. It is like you're moving towards the center, but it is very faint.
Oh, bugs, great.
At least that means we're getting closer to the actually alive part of the forest. Should that be good or should that be concerning?
Well, that means that
Definitely
we're probably more
concerning.
towards the. I was gonna say it also means that we're getting more towards the actual real and potentially old growth of the forest, which does also mean that we're likely heading in the correct direction. So there's that.
A little A at column A, a little column B. It really depends what tribe you run into first. Some of them are a little bit. Some of them are great. Some of them just annoy me.
Also, what did Asher said earlier?
Definitely concerning.
Okay.
This is a forest in the natural state. But yeah, so you guys move still a little bit forward. You do see well, you don't really see. The light begins to slowly wane from the canopy as you feel a little bit of wind, actually, just a little bit of wind through the forest. It is a odd sensation based off what you felt so far, but as you're progressing more north, the cooler, or I guess, let me double check. Yeah, northwest. As you're progressing northwest through the forest even has some of the branches very faintly rustle. It does seem like the life is coming back into the forest, which means you guys should be encountering other life. But for now, it seems to be isolated to insects and some rustling of the leaves, though it does at least indicate wind has picked up here. The natural the natural breeze of the forest. And a few other trees that seem to be of a different variety, though very, very thin amounts compared to the overwhelming majority of the same tree.
Alright, guys. Guess we should set up camp pretty soon, huh?
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea.
Alright, you guys want to set up camp? I'm going to do a little scouting and a little foraging just to make sure there's nothing around that we need to worry about.
Can I help?
Shit.
Yeah.
All right, Haboku will come with.
Should.
Volker's still
kinda
being piggybacked.
Fulgur will get put down. Sound good, guys?
Kotora nods. Yeah.
Riv will just nod.
I will start setting up for dinner.
Thumbs up.
And where's Asher going?
Sorry, I had a slight distraction IRL. What's
You're
up?
good. They're setting up camp. Where are you going? Or where would you like to do?
Oh, he'll set up his tent. Probably grumbling about the life of the forest and how it's no longer feeling at home.
Anybody has some ratios that will like me to try and turn them into good ratios?
After I'm forging, yes.
Well, anybody else is since Jace is away.
Haboku also had plenty, but he's also away.
Riv has some standard rations if you want to try turning some of his into good rations.
Yeah.
And Volker has a lot.
Fulgur. And actually, as you begin to look in your packs, everyone who is looking at the packs at the moment, you notice that there was about 1 ration missing from all of your packs.
All right, I will subtract that.
It doesn't look like it was stolen. Like it's not jostled around or anything. It doesn't look like anything was stolen. It's just missing.
Oh no, one of my good ratios. What the heck?
Hey Mir, you weren't taking people's food or anything, right?
No.
Okay, so it's not you. I've been asleep this whole time.
Wait,
It could. Well, yes, Fogger?
it's might be a little far out there, but as he's looking back towards the way we came, just at the area.
Oh.
I think it's a property of that area.
Are you thinking of the barn?
No, more so just that area. Because the food was
Oh.
gone.
The food was gone, yes. Wait, you think the area itself ate our food?
Holger nods.
I mean, I guess I've seen really weird things inside of ruins, but we're not inside of a ruin right now.
Well, given how Jace has described this place, it might as well be one.
Huh.
Oh no. Fulgur, you have done something. Riv's self-preservation has now turned off possibility that this is one big effective ruin.
Fogger, what have you done?
Good job,
Does my
Fulgur.
ruin exclamation get to apply here?
So what's going to happen here is Kotora is going to spend the entire time keeping Riv in his arms.
Riv suddenly has a very
Remember-
contemplative look on his face as he's looking around.
Remember, dungeons aren't just static things in the ground. There's more ways to skin a dungeon.
Kotora is looking at him and then looking back at Fogger, and he just has a very dejected look on his face.
Holger looks confused.
Kotora is just rubbing his eyes and he's just going to go behind Rib and just pick him up. we are not wandering around forest ruins until we have a talk, little man.
Okay, but can I just like go over there like a little bit and drop another one of my rations and watch it?
No.
Asher's going to go over where Riv indicated and leave one of his rations, giving a wink towards Riv.
Riv will give a happy small wave.
Kotora is just rolling his eyes.
Asher's stocked up on his rations, so you know.
I definitely should have bought more rations with Kotora. But then again, no, I did buy 10. It's just that I share most of mine with people because I converted them.
Okay, so if this is potentially one big ruin, and if the forest is expanding, that means that okay, I need to get to the other end to see if that part is shrinking, to see if the entire thing is moving, or if that part is staying constant, or if that part is also growing. And then at that point, I think I could begin measuring the rate of growth so that way I'm able to determine over the course of a couple of days if it's going by percentages, or it goes by a certain amount of growth, or if there's a certain amount of trees it's allowed to make.
Kotora is just sighing, and he's putting his head on top of Ribs. I see you're getting quite excited there, Rib.
By the way, Zerda, the -1 ration was for everyone, and I assume.
Yes, everyone. Whenever everyone has -1 ration, though not everyone knows it right now, but everyone has -1 ration.
Okay.
It's whatever the lowest quality ration would be.
Just wanted to update the sheet correctly. Is all.
Yeah.
Asher only got
And then
good
technically-
rations.
Yep, and Ash also put a ration on the ground. I was stepped away for just a second while you were doing that, and I'm like, I would love to narrate this right now, but I cannot. but
Well,
Ash, as
clearly
put
you
the
shouldn't
food-
be stepping away.
I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
ready to
rookie
speak
mistake.
away. And then, but then they, as you put down the ration on the ground, you don't notice anything immediately. You're not sure if it's a time thing or time of day thing, but nothing seems to be happening to the ration immediately.
Oh, well, yeah, Asher's just gonna step away and let Riv watch it.
Yeah. Let's see. Folger setting up the tent. Folger, you would also notice that the let's see. Haboku and Jace are outside. And so let's see. I want to resolve Haboku and Jace real fast.
Oh, did you hear that? You guys are getting resolved.
Oh no. I guess this is a roll a new character situation.
Damn. Oh, you know what? I know your mistake. You shouldn't have been made of food.
But the problem is that everything is made of food. Therefore, maybe I eat dungeon.
Do not eat the dungeon.
But the
Oh,
dungeon's
this is
trying
not
to eat
delicious.
me. Obviously, as the mythic type, I have to eat it first now.
Yeah.
And just imagine it as bread.
Yeah. Also, since Kotora wasn't able to stop Ray from going into another coma, he's eventually gonna just set him down. He needs to cook dinner.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll for us, Haboku. Get a +2.
I think they did. They got a 4 on that. If you want to also give me a just general perception check as well, Jace, to add to the survival.
By the way, Bugger, do you mind if I try to convert so much races into good races?
Not at all.
Okay,
have a
okay,
lot.
Raharu, please.
Yeah.
It's rations.
I
Ration.
see.
I'm sorry. Just yeah. You understand, right?
No, yeah, I understand.
Okay.
I think it's just an accent thing. But Jay, so with that, god dang. I'm just looking at you rolling and I'm like, what?
This is his home turf, man. I think this earns him a permanent +1 to any rolls made against this place here.
I was gonna
This
naturally-
specific stretch of forest.
I do want to give you a little bit of a native advantage since it is not like perception and native to the forest, but it's basically like this is your only situational bonus is while you're in the forest, but
The
only to
dice-
perception, survival, and like navigation.
The dice disagree. The dice have decided all. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yes, also at least while you're doing, and this is just for actually Jason. I would say Ashley gets a +1 to perception while in the forest, but Jace, you would get navigation, perception, and yeah, we'll just do navigation and perception for the forest. Just while you're in the forest, you can add an additional die to those rolls.
I get a bonus for survival from something else.
Oh yeah. And with that, Jace, you are actually going with it's what kind of light sources do you guys use?
Let me see. We got little flashlights.
I think you have legitimately legitimately modern age flashlights, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, considering
think
that
I sold
flashlights were
those.
invented like years ago.
Yeah, but I think they're battery operated. The technological age of Digimon is very, very off the wall.
Yep.
They've already
I mean-
made steam engines.
Considering Digimon came into existence with the internet,
Yeah, but to
They're
be fair,
fairly modern.
we're in a really weird world where we don't have the internet as Digimon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those weird situations where it's like you booted up a medieval fantasy simulator, but then you just put some sprinkled in some modern day things into it.
I
Well,
will
remember,
say
flashlights were invented in 1899.
I will say that Digimon is a little confusing with its lore.
It
It's,
Because
it's because
access to the internet itself does seem to be it seems to be not there most of the time.
yeah.
It kind of
Yeah,
depends on the
yeah,
specific lore.
now, yeah, the thing is that when it comes to Digimon lore, each it's different when it comes to the animes and the games, and even outside of that, there's the digital world does have several different iterations.
Also,
But
throw in
it's-
the fact that some Digimon pick up a role in the world, therefore they don't need to make an invention to cover it, such as the trains. Therefore, they need to invent other things to cover those holes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very much kind of like the magic trap, where it's like if you have magic that can do
Yeah.
something, then you would never have to invent the purpose to do that thing.
Which actually
Yeah.
is the premise for one of my favorite series that's ongoing.
Yeah, I do kind of like how they did it in whatchamacallit, Digimon Story Cyberloop, where apparently the digital world is just a digital world that is used to be just existing and disconnected from humanity, but access to the internet allowed humans to be able to interact with said world.
Also, here, have another random fun fact. Did you know that the match was invented after the lighter?
Yep.
Of course. But let's get this very, very wonderful instinct roll here. As you are exploring around here using your little flashlight, you get another almost sweeter scent on the air itself, but it is it is a weird sensation because it's like a mixture of sweet, but also decay at the same time. it's like they're trying to battle each other out. And as you're exploring to make sure, obviously, nothing is dead around your camp, you start to notice what looks to be leaves on the ground that it's odd. It's like a lot of the other leaves are dead, but these leaves look to be about half dead, half alive. And as you begin to trail these leaves over, well, not only that, but also the scent itself, and Haboku, you would realize that Jace also seems to have picked up something, so I'd imagine you'd be following behind them to see what they're looking at. You make your way into the forest, and in a small clearing where you swore you might actually have a little memory here, you remember that there used to be some make sure I'm saying it right, Palmon, not to be confused with Palworld, but Palmon, as well as some Woodmon that used to live around in the outskirts of the forest, and how they would make sure that the forest itself was kept up and the vegetation of the forest was kept and cleaned and pruned, and they would always kind of be like the hippies of the forest near the forest edge. But as you go deeper, you start to shine your light, and you see what looks to be a very almost completely wilted Palmon, and just a very faint just smell of that flower petals coming from them. And you look around, and as your flashlight shines around, you see what also looks to be the Woodmon. But whereas once they obviously are walking around, the roots of the forest seem to have grown around them, almost like caging them in, almost like kind of like a binding around their body. And they seem to be like just barely alive. You're not really too sure what's going on. It is very disturbing to say the least, but you look around and all of these Digimon that used to be part of this small tribe are now stuck in place, half wilted, half alive, just looking like the forest itself is draining them.
Oh, that's what's going on. The forest has actually started eating people.
That's very bad, right?
Oh, extremely, actually. Stupid hippies like to take care of the forest and make sure it stayed all clean and pretty. Live near the edge, so weren't really our concern too much, but this is a clear indication that, yeah, the forest is definitely eating people. Oh, great. Yet another thing.
You see a few of the heads, kind of, it's just a few of the Digimon's heads kind of very weakly turn up, and some eyes just very faintly flutter open a little bit as they see something, but you don't really get a sense of recognition in their head. But you do just kind of see them trying to mouth words, but not really able to form anything.
Ah, great. They're still alive, too.
Should we help them?
I don't know if we can. We might need the others. Do you want to run and get them?
Haboku will nod, and after trying to pinpoint where they came from, they tried to head in that direction.
Be safe, keep your head down. I'm gonna stay here and try to... I don't know what to do, but, be here, I guess?
Haboku, you go back to you're able to navigate enough, sensing the urgency and also a bit of your defensive kind of internal instincts kind of flaring up a little bit. You're able to find the group almost by instinct alone. But you see everyone kind of happily sitting around cooking. You know, Kotora's almost finished up with some meals. You see Asher and Folger, messing with their tents. You see Riv investigating the forest, and Mir kind of sitting around Riv as well, kind of keeping themselves attached to the hip per se to Riv.
And then Haboku rushes in and all sad puppy now. Guys, we need help. Well, eh, there's a lot of Digimon on nearby, but the forest is killing them.
Kotora blinks. Excuse me? What do you mean by the forest is killing them?
I don't know how uh, how the forest was, like me, dying. At least
Yes.
the outer part of it. I think it might also be killing them too. Was what Jay said.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, Fogger, I think your theory might be correct.
Rib is gonna go, quickly run back to the more center of the area where our stuff is set up, and just grab his bag and start heading off more in the direction that Haboku came from.
Yeah.
Same with Folker. And he's grabbing the sickle out of his bag.
Yeah. But by the way, how many ratios was I able to make with my rolls
Rations.
earlier?
Rations. Please.
Rations.
With that, you'd be able to make 3.
Okay. Add 3. Convert 3 rations into 3 good rations in your inventory, Fogger.
Yeah.
I'll get it correct. I'll get it correctly eventually, Sim. Sorry.
I'm sorry to be so particular. I don't know why that is bothering me so much, but it is setting off so many things.
I mean, you can also just call them food balls as well if you really want to be fancy.
Food portions.
I don't think that's going to help.
Portions would also work.
I'm about to say portions would probably be okay.
Yeah, portions would probably be working. Food portions.
But yeah, Rib is gonna be kind of just mumbling and half reminding himself of something along the way.
Raharu 95 tipped $10 ratios.
Adios.
Oh, you little.
I wanted to see what the bot would say.
Well, you left out the N.
Ah.
But thank you for the
also,
tip.
You're welcome.
What is Asher doing upon seeing and hearing all of this and seeing all the motion?
Asher is going to groan.
Yeah, Kotora
Just set up your tent too.
Yeah, Kotora is quickly stopping the fire of his cooking, giving Fogger the good rations, and putting his stuff away so that he can go.
Asher's packing up his tent.
You just got it set up too. Like as they were coming into the tent, coming into the area, you just hit the last nail. You just unrolled the bedroll onto the floor, and the pillow was placed perfectly inside your tent as Haboku comes into the camp.
How
but
unfortunate.
I think of all times, now would be the party medic would be the most important person to bring.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's all, folks.
Of course,
Yeah,
Furry
also,
is given one of those.
An extra ration.
That is not a
from the
ration.
forest.
Oh,
They're giving-
so that's
they're
what
giving it to the
forest.
No, you see, the forest can't eat this because it starved to death, so it threw it at the party as a weapon.
You just see it pop out of one of the trees. It's this is not even edible. It pops out of the tree.
What's this?
But yeah, you'd be able to make your way. Jace is just about. It's not too far away. Jace wouldn't be out scouting too much outside of the tent, I'd imagine. So, I'd say after about 4 or 5 minutes of navigating actually make it 6 minutes of navigating the forest, you'd be able to get back to where Jace is. It's not exactly a forest clearing. It's more so they are just randomly put throughout. Jace, as you're going around and counting, you would count of a small tribe of about 22 Digimon. About 10 of them seem to be the Palmon, and 12 seem to be the Woodmon.
Fun.
Question. As I get closer to this, do I see anything else that might have been missed with like dim vision?
You would notice that the petals, you would especially just notice the petals on the ground and how the leaves on the ground seem to be that mixture of two colors of the like half of its life and half of its dead. And there seems to be small roots that seem to almost be going around those leaves themselves. But nothing else in particular. They rolled an 11 on their check, so they rolled so much past anything.
So what's
Was-
going?
Good.
As Fulker then sees it, them.
I just imagine Fogor just goes into a ball when he sees that scene. That's gruesome as heck.
No, he actually just stands still, like freezes.
Fair.
So would this be better or worse than when he walked up and on the surgery?
Might be up there.
Fulgur's seeing things.
This is horrible.
Yeah, so, we got two intelligent people here. One's a medic, one's a bookworm. What the heck do we do here?
Rib, you need to get out of ruin mode. We need your help here.
No. Here, I'm double checking because I got. Here, just give me a second. And he's gonna take out his digipad and start like re-scrolling through it real quick. It looks like he's looking for something.
What are you looking for, Rib?
Okay, so remember when we went and at the farm with when we were having breakfast and I was listening to the farmer talk about the best ways to give nutrition to plants?
Yes. What about that?
They're plant-based.
Ah. Okay. No, continue then. That might be good information for us to have. Asher, is there anything you can do about this?
Asher's player is currently doing medical stuff IRL. Give me a minute.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
right.
Let's see.
So would you prefer Riv make an academics or lore check to reference this information? Because he did actually sit down and listen to the farmer explain all of this shit.
The mushroom
the mushroom mod very, very attentively, actually.
I'll say go whichever's the higher.
All right, well,
I'll
that's
describe
definitely
it
going
as
to be
such.
academics.
Yeah. I'll say you also got. He was also teaching you from not only natural skill, but also from, I'm sure he has a few books and stuff itself.
All right.
So look at. Oh, you're slowly making it back.
Let's start by re-rolling that one.
You're getting there. You're getting
Yep.
there.
So that turns it into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
The
With
possibility
10,
maybe turning it into a 13, but I think a 10's fine.
Yeah. They would have been, especially from what you would, in this universe, things work a little bit differently than how we would usually know it, but you would remember that whenever you were talking with the Mushroomon, that they would mention how in order to take care of their field, they would give up part of themselves sometimes to help the fields grow. And you'd make sure that obviously you never never give up enough of yourself to, hurt yourself. But they would essentially, or they would use their own sort of both data as well as their own body to sometimes help fertilize the soil and make sure that and being vegetation, being themselves vegetation based Digimon, they've learned how to work away with nature in a way that makes it, what is it called, symbiotic with them, where they could give up a little bit of themselves, but the return of it is very, very much larger. And they mention about how it takes just a very small amount of themselves to help grow their entire field, so much so that it is just kind of like the term sweat, blood, and tears, but in this case, it's their own body in a way. But if you're looking at this, it seems like whatever amount that they're taking from these Digimon here would be enough. Like a very small amount was able to field an entire field and farm. But if that's just one Mushroomon able to handle a whole field, then the amount of data or the amount of essence that these Digimon are being taken of, it must be a massive scale. Because it only takes such a small bit, but you see these roots intertwined. You see the roots of that same tree that was so prominent in the dead part of the forest, and those roots are what you see wrapped around both of these, or all of these Digimon, and it is almost like a cage that has came up from the ground as it is around them, and you would figure that these 12 or 22 Digimon would be able to fund a very large portion of essentially growth in the forest itself.
Yeah, basically like miles upon square miles of this stuff.
Yeah.
All right, did the Mushroomon mention anything about aftercare when they do this?
Usually they would mention that after they would give up some of themselves, it would cause them to have to rest for a little bit. It's not an everyday thing, it's more of a all at once thing. And then they rest for a few days as their essence works it on the field and begins to help the field grow, kind of like that topsoil nutrition. But usually it is only a one instance burst of like maybe an hour or so, and then after an hour of like meditation with the ground itself, they're able to sleep for about a few days, and then they have the harvest good for the next season.
All right, but the thing that I'm asking is, did they mention anything like, oh, hey, we like, needing to replenish nutrients, get a lot of sleep, that, they need to
They
do
do
XYZ
mention,
thing?
yeah, they do mention that they have to specifically make sure they're not touching the ground during their recovery, or the fact that the amount, like whenever they gave a part of themselves, the ground would ask for more. So it's very important to make sure that they separate themselves from the ground during that point, or the ground will recognize that there was a larger source of what was being given, and thus will try to take all of them. But as long as you're careful and it's not really too much of a risk, especially with small fields, but as long as you separate yourself from the ground for a little bit, in his case would be his house, then it wouldn't be much of an issue at all. Just don't fall asleep in the fields after you do it.
Okay, bingo, got it. In
That
that
is
case, like as he's like, rereading through the information, double checking his sources, mumbling about all of this, Riv is going to focus in on that and quickly tell the rest of the group about it.
Oh, that is one big out of character. That is one big bingo.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, there is a reason that I keep track of all the random bits of bullshit trivia and knowledge Riv gets.
I know.
I love his
Oh.
confirmation, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but the fact that
I like it.
he listened in and
The
managed to
mushroom,
get
I forgot that you listened to the mushroom on talk about vegetation all night.
Oh, did you actually forget that Riv specifically listened to an old knowledgeable man about his passion?
About vegetation, yeah, and farming. I completely forgot that you talked to him about that specific farming stuff.
You know, the
Yeah.
funny thing is that the Mushman was talking to Haboku. I remember that as well. How he was just rambling to Haboku, who was
Yeah.
barely paying attention.
Yeah, but Riv was actually paying attention. But yeah, no, so yeah, I actually pay attention to all the random trivia that people tell Riv in case it comes up in cases like this.
Yeah. And you got a
Okay, so
really
that-
high academic score, so go ahead and continue.
All right, but yeah, no, Riv will just go, okay, we need to separate them from the ground, obviously in a safe way, but in a pretty fast way, because they're going to be continually drained the longer they're touching the ground.
Okay. Okay. How do we separate them safely?
And he's just going to, like, motion towards Fulgur.
Folger is pulling out 2 bedrolls from his bag and setting them on the ground.
Alright, I'm gonna go cut a couple of them free then.
Fulgur, I was talking about the shovel. You should get the shovel.
Or the sickle. They
Oh.
also have a sickle.
Well, yeah, but one is a safer option.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to cut down the woodman and Palmon.
Yeah.
It does
so-
say a sickle is specifically used for harvesting crops or cutting grass.
Well, yes, but that also literally like cuts them off from their own roots that they'd have to reroot. If they're that like ingrained in this.
Well, as far as I'm
And-
aware, roots are wrapped around them. That's what I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
it is. It is.
Oh, yeah,
Imagine
yeah,
it. I
that
mean,
too.
it is like, yeah. Imagine it like it's kind of like Shibari for these like Digimon. Like it is.
Okay.
It is Shibari for these Digimon.
Can we get a quote on that? I know you're dealing with medical stuff, but can we get a quote on that?
It's Shibari for Digimon.
Put it in the chat.
All right, Zora, you're writing down what you said. That's your punishment. But yeah, no, remember that's a tactical shovel. That shovel has like the serrated
good.
edge stuff, right?
Yeah.
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 And so Folger will put the sickle back in the bag and then pull out the shovel.
Shovel time.
He looks a little weirded out by the shovel.
Na 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 na.
You just you do see like some of the like, especially with all the motion, you do see a lot of the
Okay.
eyes, especially turn up to you. And like you see the eyes begin to flutter, Folger, as like the mouths seem to try wording things, but there is no sound that comes out of the mouths.
All right,
Also,
I
welcome
am
back,
back. So sorry
Welcome
about that. Kind of cut my finger, and it turns out that apparently somehow Holo used up all of our bandages and didn't tell anybody. So I had to make
Whoops.
do with a somewhat ghetto setup. But
I'm going to guess that it was some paper towel / toilet paper and some rubber bands.
well, no, I have actual gauze and such.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just I didn't have a convenient band-aid to just slap on there.
Yeah.
I was about to guess paper towels and duct tape because I've literally
That's
done
actually
that.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Well, I went with
It's-
rubber bands because I feel like Zim's the kind of person to keep spare rubber bands around to like play with.
Oh.
Fuck you. How did you?
That's the fuck you. You're right.
Yes. Anytime I get a cable that's got a rubber band on it, I sit here and play with it.
Got him. Ladies and
But, yes.
gentlemen, we got him.
But Asher, they just quickly to recap, they just Viv poured through some knowledge whenever they were doing a lesson with the mushroom on and farming, and they figured out that it is best case to you have to separate the vegetation Digimon from the ground in order to stop them from taking the resources of the Digimon.
Otherwise the ground will literally attempt to steal that.
Yeah, otherwise it's a self-replicating permanent process.
And now the party's trying to cut free massive amounts of roots around these very, very wilted looking Woodmon and Palmon.
Asher is going to pull out his tactical shovel
Oh,
With
and
he
all
also
start
that
has
trying to
tactical shovelage.
Hooray.
and start trying to chop down one of the trees.
Oh, okay, dropping down the tree. I'm like, oh wait. Okay. Yeah, I would say you'd be able to. Let's make an attack roll just for kicks. It'll just tell me the length of time it takes to get the tree down.
Are any of us allowed to assist on this?
Describe how you're assisting him chopping a tree down.
Well, I assume just help dig out the roots or something.
That is fair. You can.
Riv is just about to start data spiking some roots if it's like actually taking time to get through them.
Well, I mean, if we
it's
can go the cheese route, I mean, he could just the idea is take it down and convert it into a raised platform.
Yeah, I would say you're able to do that. And it's not too difficult of a roll for that. It's a stationary object. You're not exactly missing a stationary object. You have enough training with hitting things. I would say it would take you to get the one tree down. I would say it would take you about, I'd say 7 minutes for the tree to get down. As it's,
Asher.
we're talking like the thicker trees.
Asher, you wouldn't download a tree, would you?
I
it's also
did.
positioning the tree.
Did you ever forget the tree that I downloaded to make the temporary arms?
That was a joke, Sim.
They did actually defrag refrag a tree in the previous session.
Also, Fogger, can I borrow your scythe? Sickle rather.
Yeah. Is he's gonna hand it to you?
Yeah. Kotora does not want to use his fire against these things, so he's borrowing the side.
Yeah, Riv doesn't want to like data spike like all the way through it, but he does want to like strategically weaken parts of it.
Yeah, go and give me a damage roll on. Oh, actually, give me an accuracy roll on that, Riv.
Yeah, sure.
Haboku just has his claws and teeth.
Yeah, Kotora is using the side to cut the roots.
Jace has a cool arm blade.
Yeah, and they're stationary. Like I said, it's mostly stationary. You're mostly trying to avoid it. God dang the tubes. The tubes
Well,
are bad.
luckily he has stab on this, so.
Yeah. But yeah, you're able to get that. Overall, Ash, I would say over the course of 30-ish minutes, and actually, that is really good. Well, no, sorry, I just looked. They give you a sevens
Wait,
and
that's
ones.
really good. Wait, no, sorry, I just looked actually.
Oh,
Just the double ones.
So
gonna
do you still
solve
want me to
one.
roll power for how much he's getting through now that I've rolled accuracy?
No, you're good. It's more of just it was more of an accuracy of time. The more accurate you are, the less time it would take. It's more of
okay.
and yeah, because like you said, you're going to get through them. It is roots. One logic on roots.
But technically speaking,
is-
Riv's data spike is like overkill.
Yeah, that is a statement. One logic on roots. 3 brawl on roots. That is such a statement. But I would say after about 30, I would say I'd say about 40 minutes it would take you guys to get all of it very carefully, especially making sure not to damage any of the Digimon themselves. Though you do see as you do break the contact from the roots, you do have to take extra care in making sure that the roots of the actual vegetation is not the same roots, but luckily after sleeping and traveling in a forest all day, with the dead forest, you're able to recognize the difference between the dead forest roots and what is more of a natural other form of roots. And there is still life left in the Digimon as well, but as you cut them free, they will completely just fall to the ground after being, because they were all standing up, and as they were being held in place, but they all fall to the ground one at a time as you break them free. And Asher, you were cutting down trees. You've gotten a few decent amount of logs set up to make a smaller platform away from the forest floor. As you do pull some of the Digimon away from the ground, you do notice some of the roots seem to just very, very, very slowly reach towards them, but as you pull them fully away, the roots just kind of limp down to the ground. And about 40 to 50 minutes later, you're able to get all of the Digimon out of this predicament they're in and onto the platform that Asher was preparing.
Nice.
They are very wilted and very much wilted and almost passed out. They don't really look like they have the means to even begin to speak, to even think, though you do see their words begin to mouth what seems like thanks.
Lesson learned. We're not sleeping on bare ground anytime soon.
Yeah, no, also, hey, Kotora, could you help me
Yes?
with something?
Yes, of course.
Riv would like to, basically, like, just back to the same reference material, try and find, any kind of, like, recommended fertilization, like, contents or food or, like, anything like that. And try and figure out the feasibility of turning some rations into effectively like food and fertilizer for these guys.
Yeah.
And because Kotora can actually make food and that's effectively food for these guys,
Yes.
And yeah, go ahead and give me a cooking roll it's technically like a plant roll, but you can give me a cooking roll while I describe some stuff with going on with Fulgur. Fulgur, as you're going around to see if anyone... What's up, Haboku?
I was just gonna say Haboku was just as running between all the patients and just making sure they're breathing.
Yeah. You would, and also you and Fulgur both together seem to be doing very much so. As you're investigating them, some of them seem like they've been there much longer. Actually, no, it's not the same. Sorry, I was looking at that tree. They all seem to actually be mostly from the same wilting. As you look around, it's like it all happened the same day, and the rot and decay, while some of the Palmon and Woodmon are obviously younger or older, just based off what you can tell, though it is very difficult to tell because they are so wilted. It looks like it was all very much the same similar rate of decay in a way that is almost eerie. As you look at them, it looks like they were intentionally kept alive to make sure that their nutrition cycles, but not enough to keep them strong enough to be free. As they look like their limbs are especially more wilted, but their body and any sources where they would get like sunlight seem to be perfectly intact. As in, they want to keep gaining resources, but not be able to fight back in any way, as their limbs are much more wilted than their bodies.
That's horrible.
In the meantime, then, I guess I'm gonna have Fulgur roll a medicine check until Asher is done with it, whatever they are doing.
Yeah.
They can get a proper checkup, so...
Yeah, and Kotora has done his cooking roll. Got a 10. Amazing.
Lamau.
10,
another 10.
logic, medicine.
Yeah. And I'll say, Asher, what are you doing with all this? And I'll kind of add this into like a group check kind of thing. Now that you've successfully created the platforms.
Great question.
You do see they look very... I mean, you see a bunch of very, very, very wilted, weak-looking Digimon there in front of you. It is like that, like, 20 exhaustion kind of, like, level.
I mean, the medicine check's already been made.
You could definitely run a second one. There was a lot of them there. But if
And
you'd like to
also,
continue in a different
when
way.
Gimund was making it, he was literally saying this is just like an initial thing, and then Asher could give like a full proper one later when he was done with the platform.
Yeah. Fulgur was just making sure.
Luck says otherwise.
Luck says otherwise, I guess. Holy shit.
Got 10, 10. And you can also, also as well,
So,
you can
why are
take.
we helping all of this poison out?
It is nothing but green. Like half of the Digimon are like very kind of brown, but it is very much shades of green. And the Woodmon are less green, but
Asher, no, we're not doing that right now. These are people that actually need help.
I think I got the I think I got this thing ready. How should I administer it?
as you do, you're able to make some. As you're able to work with Riv, there's specifically some mentions of herbs, and I'll even say, Jace, if you want to roll a survival along with since I work with Jace, if you want to roll a survival as well to see if you can find some local herbs that are used to help recovery, because obviously they would have those herbs around here. Decent enough.
Still a two.
You're able to find not all of them, but it takes you a little bit of extra time. What's that?
Willpower, jeez.
Okay, if you want to do that.
That's a 0, sadly.
Yeah.
There we go. Much better.
Yeah, that's better. Extra dice.
6.
Extra dice again. There you go.
7 now?
Is that to help find the herb Haboku?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say with you and Jace together, you're able to just like say, Kotora, you and Riv look together, you find a specific set of various herbs. There's multiple ones in case one is obviously on shortage or something. Several herbs are listed here as potential remedies to help with the exhaustion that comes from having kind of like that plant life symbiotic relationship. And as you describe them, Jason Haboku, you go out and find some of them to bring back. Haboku finding a little bit more than Jace, but working together to have, I would say, about 20 minutes to gather enough herbs that you feel would be at least for the initial remedy. With it being so late at night, you don't want to wander too far, but you're able to find the herbs perfectly fine in the forest, as they are still part of the forest itself. Though a little bit wilted, they don't seem to be completely gone, though. It seems like whatever's in the forest doesn't want to get rid of it entirely. It wants to make sure that it can grow enough that it still has something to take.
Yeah. So I'm
But with
using
that,
I'm
yeah.
using this
Oh,
herbs combined with some other rations to try and basically make some either fertilizer or just some healing food for these for the Palmos and Woodmons.
it mentions specifically to feed a vegetation Digimon in this sense. What you actually would do is you would mix it into a finer paste, and then you would line the inside of the mouth with it in order to have it go throughout the whole body.
Ah, that's probably what Riv is explaining to Kotora.
Probably, because
Yeah.
Riv was bringing up all the information on it.
Yeah.
And it mentions specifically how it needs to be on the inside, but it doesn't really need to be swallowed or consumed, since they don't really have stomachs like most of the other Digimon is, well, vegetation. But they do want to make sure that it is kept inside the body. So you run the paste along the inside of the mouth, both the top, the roof, and the base of the mouth, and then once the mouth is closed, it keeps that vegetation paste inside, allowing a full body, isn't a full body, throughout it, essentially. Yeah, throughout the body.
I get
Distribution
it.
is what I'm looking for.
Distribution, yeah, I get it. All right.
You do see as you put the paste in the mouth, they instant was before they were trying to at least mouth something. As you put the paste along the inside of their mouth, they do close it and keep it closed as they recognize what is going on enough to realize that they need to keep it closed to keep the mouth intact and keep that paste intact. You do see a little bit of life come back to them as some color that was once wilted is almost magically beginning to turn a little bit green, but it's more of that like yellowish green than it is full green right now.
Oh, it's
That does seem
working.
to be working.
It seems that this Digimon will be able to recover. I'm so glad we were able to find them.
Yeah. I'm just glad that I actually made sure to listen to that old farmer.
Yeah, that was actually very good information.
Well, this is why I try to keep track of all the information I get told, because a lot of times you can end up using it to help out other people.
Yeah, you're very good at that.
Is it safe for them to still be here though?
Um, I I don't know, but we can't exactly move this many Digimon somewhere else right now.
Unfortunately, all we can do all we can do right now is just make sure that they're not touching that they're not touching the ground and wait to see if they can get healthy enough to move. Then maybe they can move away from this location.
We might have to set up camp here then, huh?
Yeah.
Are the roots moving, by the way, when I prod at them, Zerda?
Uh, very, very weakly, especially with you removing their source of nutrients. They actually shrivel a little bit, and they seem to retract back into the ground. Not entirely, as it's very slow moving, but like if you were to stare at one for like 10 minutes, you would notice enough movement, but it is a very slow movement, like it's trying to retreat back into the ground.
Yeah, okay. Ground is not a safe place to be for long periods of time, so we might need more platforms.
Yeah.
Great. The forest is actually eating people. Fantastic.
This is new, I'm guessing.
Fairly. When I was here, it wasn't like this. Like, weird stuff happened because it's a deep, dense forest, but nothing like this that I ever saw.
From what Ray was telling me earlier, it seems that this is something that can just happen when a plant-based Digimon is just lets themselves get absorbed too much by the forest whenever they're trying to treat it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the old mushroom mon that we talked to at the farm, I talked with him a lot about this kind of stuff, and basically anything related to farming he was willing to tell me. And apparently it's a process that can be started and it won't automatically stop unless they're forcibly disconnected from the ground.
Do the
Wait,
roots move?
Zerda?
Oh, do the roots move like?
Like, is that a normal part of the thing if like
Oh,
like they let it
no,
go?
it is not. It is. I mean, it is not to this level. Like we're talking, like it would take weeks, for roots to grow. But no, not like this. Roots don't move like this.
All right, in that case, Riv will just go. It would take weeks for roots to even really begin showing up, and even then, not like this.
Yeah, this is new. No
this is a
sleeping on the ground.
Yeah. No, I don't wanna.
I ain't getting eaten by a tree. I'd rather try and eat a tree. Gives the tree a look. I'll eat you. Points at. That'd be disgusting.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't think a tree would taste very good.
Yeah, when you're desperate.
Well,
Alright. I guess we'll need to make some more platforms then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we need to make sure it's like sufficiently lined and different. But yeah.
Yay, late night work. Just what the old bones need.
I mean, I think I'd rather do a bunch of late night work than, be consumed by roots.
Fair.
Because even if we aren't exactly plant-based Digimon, I don't know if this place will care.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Anyways, I could probably use the workout. I don't have the muscles I used to. Flexes.
Yeah. I mean, especially because it seems that it might not just be eating. It wasn't just eating the Digimon for nutrients. I mean, earlier a bunch of our rations disappeared from our backpacks.
Rations.
The only rations.
Mhm.
A bunch of our rations that disappeared from our backpacks, and the only explanation is that the forest took them.
Well, let's not dawdle in and talk about it. Let's actually just get to work. Let's get a few more trees down, make some platforms, and we'll figure out the rest schedule afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, some of the Digimon will be able to tell us what the heck happened here.
I'll find out. Jace is already going to work.
Kotora is gonna help out Jace.
And you have a new
Fulgur's-
camp spot. Go ahead, Fulgur.
Fulgur's gonna be continuing to look after the Digimon.
And I will say, after some time, you guys will set up a new camp at this place instead. And let me double check. Here, I'm gonna add this to that. Add that to that. Okay. And Asha, would you also like to look at them from just a medical standpoint outside, or would you also like to look at the data like on the inside as well? I just want to ask, what kind of medical check are you doing on that? You can also use your defrag refrag as a medicine if you're looking at like it from a data level, like here you look at the others inside. It depends if you want to use that here.
Sure, he'll scan him.
I just know if Asho would even begin to scan, especially the very, very green Palmon. Or the Woodmon.
I mean, he did.
Another loyal
Whoops.
devotee.
There you go.
I mean, Asher did bring up the whole green thing before, but Rib was just like, no, stop. These are people that actually need help.
Yeah. Also, by the way, the funny thing is that Asher isn't even wrong about the Palmon being poisonous. Their Synectomore is literally poison ivy.
Well, yeah. But that isn't what we should be worrying about when, there are people
Yeah.
in need of help.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you were looking at that, Asher, give me the refrag, defrag, refrag.
Defrag, refrag, defrag.
Defrag, refrag, as well as the medicine check with that. Well, not medicine. Oh, actually, never mind. Oh, god dang. Whoa. Is
Nice.
There we go.
that is all success? Oh, so that is all successes plus 1 minus.
I was about to say,
Is
he
that
might
the-
be seconds away from vigoring that.
Oh, is that the? Do you? Let's see. So with
Wait, why'd you roll 9 more dice?
That was for the medicine check.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Sure. I'll defrag, refrag. Or, figure.
Okay. Because this actually is going to be very important.
Intense typing.
That is actually going to be, as you are looking very deep inside the, doing the scan of the, Digimon, Asher, you realize that very deep inside the kind of like core, there seems to be some, like, that is a huge amount of, god dang, 20. There seems to be like a huge amount of, like, very, well, in deep inside their core, it's like the roots of the tree are still there, but it's inside the core itself, or almost wrapped around the core. Those roots that you saw around the area with the ones that kind of like the dead trees and the tree that repeats itself over and over, you were seeing parts of the data from those trees wrapped around the cores of all of, not just one, but all of the Digimon that were captured by this thing. Ended up having these root systems that it's like that data itself is around the cores of these Digimon, holding it almost like a poison vine that is sapping from them. It is a way of how you remember how you saw the data that was being transferred from like the outside to Jace's arm. This is like the reverse of that, where the it is the transfer out of the Digimon instead of into the Digimon, where it's like these little seeds have been planted inside or around the cores of the Digimon and are causing them to be slowly sapped of energy, even with the roots themselves being gone. It looked like the roots are more so just an easier assist to make sure they don't leave, but the actual draining of their life force seems to be internal around that core.
Well, then he's gonna start plucking those seeds out.
Yes, you are. With that kind of role, you are. As you would see Asher going around to each individual Digimon, and not you guys can't really tell what's going on, but knowing Asher and knowing what they're doing, you would be able to tell what is going on. And
I mean,
as you see them,
it's a very visible thing. He turns them all
It
into
is very
boxes, and then starts plucking boxes out of there.
that is fair. Yeah, and you're able to pluck those seeds out of each one of them, and as you do see the life begin to everyone that Asher passes. It's like the reverse of a Reaper, where he goes by to one of them, you see him do his little thing, and then as he moves past, you see a lot more color begin to rush back to the Digimon, whereas before it was only a very small amount. And you see them going around to each individual one doing that.
How long would this take, Asher, by the way?
This would take, Asher, I'm gonna say probably about 3 minutes per Digimon. With 22 Digimon, this is gonna be what they're doing for the next hour.
Alright,
He is going to be storing the data for all of those seeds.
Yeah.
Yep, because one thing I was going to have Riv do at least partway through when he realizes what's happening is go and take his own scans, so that way for his research he'll have at least for some of them his own little scans for, like, before and after.
Yeah, as you begin to you're investigating them. Yeah, you're investigating them.
Yeah, literally just taking data for later. He's not doing anything to them, just literally going, oh, okay, so if this is happening right now, let's get the before and after.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so as you're investigating them, what's everyone else doing as Asher's doing this for the next hour?
Holger's probably gonna be doing aftercare on each one that Asher finishes with.
Haboku will most likely
Yeah.
be going back and forth between checking on the uh, Digimon and helping with setting up camp again.
Yeah, Kotora is helping Jace when it comes to getting those platforms ready for us to set up camp.
And yeah, and I would say that. And after some time, after like the hour passes, obviously they're very, very, very weak and very tired. So you're not going to see too much of a response from them. But they definitely, you don't see the roots like growing around the trees to get up to them. The roots seem to have mostly calmed for right now, as they don't really know how to deal with the barriers that you've placed. And now you know not to put anything on the solid ground left by itself.
At least nothing that might have nutritional value. But probably best just to not put stuff in general.
Indeed.
Yeah. But
So
after
what
that,
we
some
need to do
time.
is like make a salt circle, but with Wandermere bowlers.
How many
Just
of
around
those
the bases.
seeds did Asher take the data of?
It'd be 22, but it's a very small amount of data, but it is of 22. It is a very, very faint a bit, but you did get a decent amount. The fact that there were just so many of them.
I have a plan for this data.
Riv is going to ask to be on one of the lower platforms, so that way his cold aura hopefully fends off some more of the roots in case they do try growing up.
Yeah, and you're able to do that as you're getting everything set up. I will say, as you do go back to get some of the stuff, because I don't think everyone took those stuff. The Wonder Meal bar, oh, not the one, the ration that Asher placed down is gone. As you go back to your camp to grab your stuff, it is completely gone.
Yeah, well, that is confirmation and all of that, so you know.
Mm-hmm.
This
Experiment
is our
success.
surprise face.
Yeah, it's just, you know, nice confirmation. More data points, yada yada.
Experiment successful.
But yeah, you're able to get back to the camp. It'll be like I say, everyone's going. I forget. I think there was 3 tents, and is there which tent does Haboku sleep in?
Probably the one with Asher and Jace. Because that one sleeps
I think they
3.
would leave. Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably that one.
And then Folger just sleeps by themselves.
I don't think Fulgur's going to complain about that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep, but after that, after the very traumatizing event, the Digimon definitely aren't going anywhere. Is there anything else you'd like to do for a nightly activity? Though this is now it is 11 p.m. at night at this point.
We need to figure out rest schedule. Who's gonna be sleeping? Who's gonna be watching?
Yeah, Riv will
Yeah.
offer to take first watch because he, technically speaking, slept in due to the whole thing with Mir.
Yeah. And Kotora is offering to take watch alongside Riv.
I'm willing to take
Okay.
last watch.
I can take second.
Ashley, do you want to be with me or do you want to be with Haboku for watch?
I'll take it with Haboku.
Well, I meant
Okay.
Fulgur, but I'll go on second with Fulgur then.
Okay. Let's see. Everyone, just give me a just a percentile die, just for randomness sake.
Hey, Lamau, get a 3 on a D100. That'll only mean good things in a roll under system, right, guys?
You and me, buddy. Apparently, we're the low rollers tonight.
Nope. Apparently, the other Calamity Bro is also here to rat out the bottom.
Okay.
I'm not a calamity brother. I'm just a guy.
Well,
Is
yeah,
that,
but I think you earned the title around bread-based products, so.
Indeed.
with
bread
that, we do
planet.
have Kotora and Riv specifically. As you guys are kind of watching, do you just stay in one place, or do you walk around a little bit during the watch, or do you just stay in one place?
Riv will probably go around a little bit, but he's mostly going to be sticking to, like, the lower areas of whatever, like, platform system we have going on. Because, again, he's trying to see if his cold aura will, like, make some of the plants shy away. If they try growing up.
Okay, and as you're doing that, so you don't actually leave the platform at all. You stay on the platform the whole time.
He will probably occasionally go out and, like, do, like, a quick patrol, but he can fly, so he doesn't have to touch the ground to do that.
True.
Actually, yeah. Do you want to fly around at all?
Yeah, he'll definitely be. He doesn't want to touch the ground right now.
Yeah. I mean, like, you flying like up at all? You're just kind of like hovering, like.
Oh no, he's like, he's gonna fly up like ever so slightly, but like, basically just enough so that way if something happens, he has like reaction time to keep flying.
I'll say as you're flying around, you do notice something as you're investigating around the camp itself, and you will notice that there seems to be some sort of it. It kind of shimmered at a moment because I'm imagining you have some sort of light that you're using.
He does have the headlamp.
Yeah. As you're flying around a little bit, you notice that some of the trees are covered in not covered, just like a little bit like small pools of some kind of shimmering something is on the outside of the tree. You're not really too sure what, and it's only a very small amount, but it looks like some kind of viscous liquid is on some of the trees.
Yeah, whenever he notices that and he goes back to Kotora, he's just gonna go, hey Kotora, some of the trees are leaking.
Kotora is going to blink. Leaking? What?
Yeah, some of them kind of have like a viscous liquid on the outside.
That's not that is not syrup, is it?
Zerda.
Would you have to get close enough to try to see if it's syrup?
Well, I was about to say, like, I just didn't know if, like, because you said it was a viscous liquid, but I didn't know if that would be, like, syrupy in nature viscous liquid, or if it's, like, slime viscous liquid.
You would have to get a closer investigation to check it. You'd have to get a lot closer to it.
Riv's, let's go, I couldn't tell, let me go look.
I'll come.
He's gonna start flying off again.
I'll come with you.
I cannot touch the ground. I think you kind of have to touch the ground.
I know, but I am fire. Don't worry about me.
It is also very much true. They are a walking fire hazard to the entire forest.
Yes.
Okay, but just please be careful, because if there is a liquid and it's coming out of trees and it might be syrup, it might also be flammable.
Kotora not.
As you go over to investigate it, it looks like there's no cracks in the tree where it is, and in Koto you would see only a very faint amount from the bottom. It is almost impossible to really see, but there's just some faint drippings. But as you are much higher up, Riv, you look at the syrup and you can't tell too much. Like I say, it's not the tree isn't damaged, so you're not sure if it's leaking from the tree itself. But you do get closer, and it is a clearish liquid. If anything, it's a clearish viscous liquid that does seem to be attached to the tree, but you're not really too sure what it is.
Can I roll an appraise?
Yeah.
Cool. Can Kotora help me appraise, considering he is also at least still looking at the same stuff?
Yeah. I'll say if you plan on collecting any of it, they would be able to help you, but just looking up, they wouldn't really be able to. But if you collect any of it and then bring it down to them, they could.
Kotora actually has 2 in appraisal, so have that.
All right, but that does mean you'd have to like try and collect some. So
yeah, Kotora can do that.
You don't feel like it's acid.
Well,
don't
yeah,
feel like
no,
it's
it's
going to
just more
burn you
like
if you look at it.
it's just more like, you know, Kotora's players should probably accept that risk before we just go
Yeah.
ahead and do that.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, if you are going to have to physically touch it, or at least if you're touching like with the rim of a glass or something.
Kotora, if anybody, do we have any glass container back at the camp? Because
I'd
if
imagine,
if
yeah.
that,
I would,
if,
I,
because if
I
that
would
is,
say, yeah. There's a jar or two. There's definitely some jars or two.
All right, do you
Yeah,
want
I
any
should
collected the
modifiers on
slime.
this?
I'm gonna step away for a few minutes. I'll still be listening.
All
okay.
right, do you
Okay.
want any modifiers on this?
No, it's just a flat roll here.
Flat roll, cool.
Yeah, and get to appraisal from Kotora, by the way. Nice.
I'll solo one.
Might as well.
Turns it
Session's
into an
almost
8.
over. Nice.
Kotora,
Yeah.
as you were kind of helping Riv along, Riv doesn't exactly want to get too much into it, but as you're looking at it, you start to actually recognize it a bit, Kotora. This is not tree sap. This is honey.
Clear
All right.
honey.
Kotora blinks as he looks at the liquid and actually finally recognizes what it is. It's a bit hard to do it at night. Wait, this is honey. What the heck? Why is honey leaking out of a tree?
Why is honey clear?
I am also trying to ponder that. Since you say that I recognize that, do I recognize why it's clear, Sarda?
As you look at it, it has a sweeter smell to it. It smells like honey. It looks like, well, doesn't really look too much like honey, but it is clear. It looks like it has been modified in some way. You're not really too sure how.
Does it look like it's been
But-
glitch modified in any way?
Not glitch modified, not glitch modified. It is more so that you're not sure if it's from a different breed of flower or bee or what have you, but it is different. It is different than what you're used to, but that doesn't mean that it is not honey. You're not sure if it's a regional variant or if it's something from a specific something Digimon. It's something you don't know, but it is different and it is noticeable.
And we roll a
Yeah.
lore to try and see if we would know of any place that would have something like this.
You guys would not have any encounters with this. I can tell you that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but the reason I was asking is because of anything like, oh, hey, has there been a like a reference to it in a book or something, or like someone's account of things?
I would say not in this situation, but I will say maybe other people might be able to help you with it, but you would not have knowledge of this specifically.
All right.
Okay.
In that case, this is technically speaking like a junk roll, but this is literally just going to be
Yeah.
like, you know, how certain Riv is that he has never heard of this.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you are really high, you'll really know you haven't heard of it. Yeah, you could
I
not
misheard that. As if you were really high.
You were really high.
Somehow.
Somehow.
But yeah, you're able to grab a decent amount. It doesn't, like I said, it looks like it wasn't put there recently, as it was very much you had to scrape the tree, as wherever it was, it had taken a decent amount of time, climbing down the tree. So it looks like it wasn't anything too recent, but it is definitely not months old or weeks old. But it does potentially be upwards of a few days old, up to a week old from what you're looking at. Just based off how long, as you kind of study its viscosity, and like how long it looks like it climbed down the tree from its original source.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so this is definitely honey, but it looks like it's been modified somehow.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I've never seen anything like this.
Which is
Or
surprising.
heard anything like this.
Which is surprising, but what should we make of this, honestly?
I was planning on asking Jace when we did the whole shift change if he's seen anything like this around.
Yeah, I mean he is technically a local. If he doesn't know, then this might be just something new to the location.
Yeah, and
because-
if it isn't something he oh, okay, well, even if he does know what it is, I'm going to research it anyway, but if it isn't something that he knows about, I'm going to research it a lot more.
Kotora nods. Okay. That's good.
Riv catching himself in the middle of, like, perhaps saying he wouldn't research it, but he knows that that's absolutely incorrect.
Kotora nods. Kotora was probably giving him a look before he caught himself. Like Kotora nods. You know you're going to research it anyways. But yeah, I guess Kotora and Rib will return then.
Yeah, and as
Would anything else happen on their little
No.
shift? All right. In that case, I guess. Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to do on the shift, Kotora?
Yeah, I did actually.
Okay.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I mean, Kotora wanted to have a talk with Riv. There just haven't being an opportunity to do it because of the craziness.
You can do that outside of the day. I'll say you will do that, yeah. Either here, probably back at the base, because you're all supposed to be watching the base, so...
Yeah, well, it's just more like everyone else would be asleep, so if they're talking lowly, that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. And Kotora is just gonna ask. While they're back at the base, Kotora is just gonna ask. So, what was your interaction with Mir before this whole before these crazy things began to happen?
Okay, so like I tried saying earlier, I kind of heard a very, like, whispery voice asking for help, and I didn't know what they wanted help with, but I agreed to try and help them, and then I kind of think they took part of my data, not anything from my core, because that would have been probably really bad, actually, considering, glitch. But then they took some stuff from me, and then I felt really tired all of a sudden, and then I kind of passed out. So I talked to them a little bit, and then they explained that, like, they didn't really have memories or remember their name or anything, so I offered to let them use the other part of my name that I don't really use. And then they asked for help. I said that I'd try to help them, and then data get taken.
Kotora is going to nod and give a bit of a sigh. I was wondering whether I should just be angry or sad about all this, but I can't really be angry at this situation. You just wanted to help somebody, but it ended up kind of backfiring on you. You didn't exactly know what the hell was needed, and it kind of happened before an explanation was given.
Yeah, and I kind of really don't want things to have too much of my data, not because of, like, it's supposed to be my data or anything like that, but just because I don't, even if they look like they're mostly made of glitch data, I still don't know if it's a good idea to put other experimental glitch data inside of them.
I mean, you should be concerned if anybody took your data, regardless of whether we had glitch data inside of us or not. But I know what you mean.
Meanwhile, Riv just being like, okay, well, I'm not gonna correct that I actually was just concerned about the glitch part and not my data being taken, but, like, yeah, sure.
Oh no, Kotora knows that. He's saying that you should be concerned about that.
Yeah, I know, but it seems like Kotora was rushing past it a little bit, so Riv wasn't exactly about to correct him on it.
Yeah.
on what his personal intentions would have been. He's just like, I'm just not going to bring that up.
Kotora is just going to poke Rib. Maybe before you decide you're going to help somebody, maybe ask them first what is it that they need help with.
Well, I'm gonna help them anyway. It just depends if I'm going to do exactly what they ask or if I'm going to try and do something else.
That's why you need to
I'm
ask.
gonna help them anyway, so why would I say that I'm not gonna help them or put that off when I already know I'm gonna try and help them?
So that things like this don't happen again, Riv. You have me incredibly worried.
Okay, look, I'm sorry that I worried you about it, but well, even if it wasn't giving them my data, I still would have agreed to help them anyway.
I know you would. You're very selfless, very selfless like that, and that's something I admire about you, and at the same time something that really annoys me. But it's just saying that I don't want something bad happening to you, and when I saw you when I saw you not waking up, I just didn't know what to do for a moment.
Well, I mean, I do kind of work myself to exhaustion a lot anyway, so I could have actually just been passed out anyway.
I know. That's what I thought happened too. I just had a bit of a panic when I realized your data had been taken from you. It's like I was about to lose my only other family. I don't want that to happen.
Okay, well, don't. You shouldn't worry about that too much, Kotora. I mean, like, even when I have my scrambles, I make sure that the thing that I actually hold on to the most is stuff related to you.
Or we're
So I don't
nuts.
think even if, like, I got some of my data taken and I was asleep for a while, that I'd let that get taken.
Kotra is gonna sigh and just try to give a bit of a smile as he just leans on Riv. You know that does make me feel a bit better. Not gonna lie. Even if I wish you took better care of yourself, but this is just how you are.
How goes
So,
on?
can I keep Mir? Because I kind of want to keep him around and keep helping him.
Kotora is going to chuckle. I mean, I think he's following us out of his own volition. So sure.
Well, yeah, but also, uh, just kind of asking because, well, in case we end up going back to our place, I'd probably kind of try and take him with me, and so I kind of wanted to ask that before.
Kotora is going to think about that for a bit, and he's just going to nod. You know what? Sure. I think I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how long it actually take us to go back to our place, but in case we want to or need to, I'd probably bring him along. So
Yeah, that sounds nice.
yeah, I mean,
I
obviously he is kind of his own person. I think, he is.
think he is too, but well, maybe we could ask him if he'd like to come with us.
Sure. Hey, Mir, do you wanna stick around with us and keep hanging out with us?
I'm assuming Mira's asleep in the tent at the moment.
Well, I
Ah,
mean, yeah, but if they are actually asleep. I just didn't know
Yeah.
if we could tell because he has a little gray blob.
Yeah.
The eyes don't even have eyelids. It's just they just stare into the void.
Well, no, I was just imagining that, like, with that description, that it was literally just like a featureless gray blob.
It is,
Uh,
but it has 2 eyes on it.
Yeah, it's like one of those baby Digimon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this it's one of the bit where like they can like maybe squint their eyes at best, but like it is kind of like it's like a Furry level of eye opening.
Yeah.
Nice. In that case, Riv wouldn't ask right away.
I guess we can ask it. I guess we can ask in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably stick around either way. It's just, I don't like. I think they're their own person, but it might kind of be like an even more extreme version of what I think was going on with Haboku. So they might
Ah.
not be at this point. I don't know.
Oh, they a person.
Well, to
Mm.
be fair, apparently this creature needed some of other people's data to even exist anymore. So
Yeah.
What's that famous parable about the boat again?
Chipothesius.
Chipothesius.
Yeah, so basically, Riv is now considering the ship of Theseus when it comes to a Digimon's data when they were lacking even a core or anything, and is mostly comprised of glitch data.
Yeah.
So, like, he's pretty sure that they're an individual.
Mm.
He's just not entirely sure off of the face of it.
Yeah. I suppose that's another thing that we're going to have to figure out. But I guess we'll try and help him out.
But I'll say I'll say you guys begin to talk throughout the night unless there's anything else you'd like to add.
No, I think I had my talk.
Yeah,
So who's gonna show Jace the honey?
probably Kotora because he has it in the glass.
Yeah.
Just wake up, Jace. Look at this honey I found.
Look at this clear honey we found on the trees. But to be fair, we do have to wake him up for his shift anyway, along with
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to wake up the Jace?
Kotora will probably head to wake up Jace, and I believe Fogor is the other one that's taking the
Yeah.
second.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Kotora will head to wake up Jace.
Yep, Riv would probably go and wake up Fulgur and bring him over to the conversation with Jace.
Yeah.
Just gonna peel himself out the tent, trying to not wake up the children's.
Yeah.
Do they sleep on you? You just like pick them up as like a ball.
The problem is I'm pretty sure at this point I have become the bed.
At the very least, your tail has become part of the bed.
Yes. So,
This is
hey
accurate.
Jace. Yeah. Hey Jace, you are very familiar with the fauna around here, right?
To a degree.
Yeah, me and Rip were scouting a bit earlier, and Rip found this secreting out of a tree. It seems to be some sort of honey, but it's clear. It seems like it's been modified of some sort. Are you familiar with this at all?
It's a good question, Zerda, am I?
Yes, actually. I was waiting for that. Jace, as you look at this, it looks a little bit different than what you're used to, but it looks mostly the same. As you remember back whenever you were originally in the forest doing your scouting, there was a particular set of honey beemon and fan beemon, with their own waspmon queen in their base, and they would produce a very similar looking honey. Though you do remember that though the honey was still a traded commodity within the forest, just due to their stance on outsiders, it was never allowed to ever leave the forest. And the only agreement during the trade of any sort of honey is to make sure that the honey is to never leave the forest or the penalties would be grand. But outside of that, this honey would be transferred around the forest with pretty welcoming ease in terms of, trade on trade commerce. You remember it being very sweet, but it was a pleasant taste to begin with, and very sweet. But it did look slightly different. It looked less clear than it was now. This stuff here is much more clear, but that's about the only distinction from what it was before.
Chase, without saying anything, is going to taste it.
As you tasted it, it tastes exactly the same as you remember, though, like I said, the color is still just slightly different, but the color itself, besides the color, it basically is as much as you remember it.
Oh yeah, this is honey made by the Beemon around here. They use some special procedure, not allowed to leave the forest, yada yada blah. If it leaves the forest, will stab you to death. Expensive stuff. Really good
Huh.
too. Makes hell of a mead.
Okay, because there's kind of a lot of... It's on multiple of the trees, actually.
Yeah, they were just secreting out of the trees. Is that?
Or it was lathered on it, but we're not really sure which one.
Yeah.
I hope we're not in their territory. They're mean sometimes.
Okay, well, yeah, that's why I'm pointing out that it was kind of on multiple of them if you're saying it's rare and expensive.
That's interesting. I don't know if we can really do much about it now. Maybe somebody was using it as a lure. If they lathered it on, I don't hear any Beemon.
I mean, it was like high up in the trees. I was like flying around to avoid touching the ground and all that when I could see the shimmer.
Wonder if there's a nest up there. Weird.
Maybe.
Can Folker look up at the mention of, I wonder if it's up there?
You look, I mean, you don't see anything initially.
He'll roll a perception check because he sees better in the dark.
Go ahead. And keep in mind, you will only get maybe like at best 2 ounces of this honey riff, just to keep in mind. As you got
Well,
like
yeah.
at best 2 ounces of it, just to keep in mind.
Well, there is not... The point isn't how much they were able to gather, it's how much
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
Maybe I will eat a tree tonight. It's coated in honey. It might actually taste good.
There is no Beemon in the sky, Folger.
I don't.
You do see with
See?
your night. I will say with your night vision, you do see some of the it's like a very faint shimmer on some of the trees. That almost looks like the trees are glazed in some areas, but it is very faint.
I don't see anything that would look like a nest or something.
Well, also, I'm kind of hoping that they aren't around here, also because I don't know if they're in a nest or something, and if that would count for the whole, and he's gonna motion towards the Palmon and Woodmon.
No idea.
Oh.
You two go to bed, though. We'll keep watch.
Okay.
I am not
Also-
responsible for any missing trees in the morning.
Yeah.
I think you are actually, considering what you've been saying about them.
It was a joke. Riv, it's a joke. Pats your head.
Also, what was that? What was that earlier about a treat?
There's
What?
a lot of trees.
Jace
lot of
mentioned
trees.
something. No, not a tree, a treat.
No, I didn't mention anything about a treat.
I think I might
I-
have just misheard from a tree.
Yeah,
I know
thought
that we're surrounded by a lot of talls, but I didn't say treat.
We got treats, wild treats.
I could
Yeah,
have sworn you mentioned something regarding the honey to Kotora.
I mean, look,
Well,
guys,
other than it being
we may be
expensive
on
and
a
honey.
we may be on a makeshift docile right now, but we are surrounded by talls still.
The trees are not docile. Just so you know, the trees are not docile.
Well, we're on the docile. The trees
We're
are
on the
tall.
docile. We're on a makeshift
Yeah.
docile surrounded by talls.
Y'all.
Yep. Oh, and yeah. But yeah, so the honey is very much supposed to be a treat for those around, or a very rare commodity, something that you don't really leave the forest. But within the forest, it's less of a rare commodity. But it was not supposed to leave the forest, so by that extension, it is rare. They still make quite a bit.
Okay, so I'm going to put a item in my inventory of a jar of rare honey.
You certainly can.
No, I was gonna eat that. All right.
I
That's
mean, if you
fine, I
want
can
it,
always
it
lick
as
a
well,
tree.
Kotora? Would you like
mean,
to
if you
try
want-
tasting it as well?
I mean, yeah, Korra will give it a taste before saying,
Riv?
if you want it, I can give it to you. Yes.
No, Rib's good.
Nah, it's fine. I can literally. There, it's right there. He points at the tree.
Folger, do you try any of the honey? Folger contemplating.
Squeak.
Let's see.
Would
there's my
Folger
squeaky.
try the honey?
Nope. He
guess
does
we'll-
not try the honey.
I guess only Kotora tries the honey because he's interested in seeing how it tastes.
Koto, it is extremely sweet, and there's a hint of almost woodiness to it. But outside of that, it is a very sweet honey. It is very much so delicious by any counts of the word. Delicious more than you've had in any other sort of honey.
Oh my! I can see why this is. I can see why you said it was a delicacy.
Oh yeah, it's basically pure glucose right there.
I'm sorry, did you just say it was a delinquency? Also, I'm back.
I said it's a pure glucose.
No,
but,
Raharu.
Oh
No, I said delicacy.
Yeah, it's
delicacy.
It's delicacy.
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 Okay.
Why am I mispronouncing stuff so much today?
It's a long day.
It's been a long day in English. Is terrible, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, Riv will look at Kotora and just go, oh, by the way, if you end up eating a lot of that, can you make sure to leave at least a little bit that I can analyze later so I can try and figure out why it's so different from normal honey so we can try reproducing it elsewhere?
Sure thing. I wasn't thinking of eating it all up. I just wanted a taste.
Well, yeah, but you would probably use it to cook.
True.
If we
Okay.
run into the Beemon or the Waspmon, do not mention you're doing that. They're very protective of their recipe.
Yeah,
Or
well,
I'm
I won't mention it to them, but that's dumb, and I'm going to learn how to recreate it anyway.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll say
Alright.
switch over watch.
Yeah, Kotora is putting the honey back in his backpack and sleep.
Jace and Folger, you guys are taking some time. Anything specific? You guys are staying in the tent itself, or staying around the tent itself, or any sort of forest travel?
I'm not going to go
Oh.
too far away from camp, just perimeter.
Yeah, and Folker's just keeping watch if you want a perception check for that.
I might see
I'll
if
take
that
the-
honey comes down far enough for me to get to easily and harvest some, but
I'll say you're able to harvest a little bit from it. As you're investigating around, you're able to kind of see it. It has that specific glimmer that you recognize, but outside of that, it is able to get just a small amount. I'd say like a small vial's worth. I'll say, as for that, the night mostly passes over, but Jace, as you guys are going to wake up Asher and Haboku, Jace, your tongue begins to feel very numb.
oh, that's not good. Hey, Fulgar, is my tongue a funny color? Sticks out his tongue.
Folker's gonna look.
It looks like a normal color. It feels like it's like your tongue's asleep, Jace.
Can Folker do a medicine check?
You certainly can.
Oh boy, I'm so many rolls back to back.
I'm not really too sure how much you can deduce from all this, but
Well, he'll try.
I was about to say, I think both of the data analyzers are asleep currently, so you'd have to wake one of them up, probably.
Well, we're going to have to wake one of them up anyways shortly, but I'll let him try first. You never know.
Today's a very active session.
Nope.
Nope.
Their tongue does not appear any different than it regularly looks, though as you do, you kind of stick your head a little bit close, as, you want to make sure you see. They open up that strong jaw of theirs, and you get really close to that jaw, kind of investigating that tongue as it kind of looks, but it looks perfectly normal, like it is just a perfectly still tongue. A little bit wet, a little bit moist, but outside of that, it's normal.
Are you
Thumbs
trying
up.
to tease a certain portion of the crowd here, Zerda, with that?
It's just a mall check. It's just a mall check. Nothing else. It's just a mall check.
Big, strong, warm jaws, glistening.
But nothing outside of the normal. But it does feel weird to you, Jace. It definitely is weird. It is not nothing that you will remember.
I don't think anything's. Me? I don't know.
Yeah, probably a poison now that I think about it. It wouldn't be surprising if the trees or something are mimicking something, or the forest is mimicking something that we all know is edible to trap us.
Green.
But let me go ahead and it's not green, Asher. How are you saying that in your sleep? Asher, boops. Asher,
What?
boop. It's your watch. Also, I tasted some what I thought was honey and my tongue went numb, but apparently I don't think it's honey. Do you want to do a quick scan to make sure that I'm not going to die? Would you rather I lick you?
No.
Licks.
The tongue looks like it is very similar to what you would regularly see for them. No outside, nothing on the outside seems to be abnormal.
That was
Though
defrag
you can
refrag.
defrag. Thing. I don't think the data of their tongue is messed with in any way. I don't think the data. I don't know if ailments count. I don't think ailments change data in any way.
Well, he is checking
will-
all of Jay's because...
Oh,
Or at least
yeah,
down to
100%.
his
They don't look-
stomach, because, he said he ate it.
They don't look poison in any way, though. As you do investigate the tongue, it kind of flops a little bit. Like you move it up, and then it kind of flops down. It looks like it is paralytic, as in their tongue is paralyzed in some way. Not too sure how long it'll last, but it doesn't look like they're going to be sick from it. But you also, if you ask them how much they ate, it was a very, very small amount.
You've gotten your tongue paralyzed.
Oh. Well, Kotora too then. It'll go away. Boops Haboku.
Huh? Eh?
Boops him again. Your watch, buddy.
Okay. Haboku will get up and shake himself off before we're heading out of the tent, I assume.
Yeah.
See y'all in the morning. Don't lick the sweet honey on the trees. It's paralytic.
What?
As the camera pans over to Haboku already doing so.
What flavor? What flavor is that?
The trees have been coated or seeping some sort of clear honey-like substance. It's mimicking honey that a certain tribe around here makes. But it's apparently paralytic. Hence why my tongue is being all floppy and I'm not exactly making much sense right now.
What is
Could you try to
paralytic
explain
mean?
in great detail?
Paralytic means paralyzed. It means it paralyzes you, which prevents you from moving. Makes you go numb. Like when your arm falls asleep.
They don't have blood flow, I don't think.
Anyway, I mean, even if they don't, Haboku should still be familiar with with the sensation of not being able to move, or the concept at least.
That is fair.
Wow, way to bring up trauma there, Kotora.
Oh.
Makes
He was-
sense.
I was familiar with it at least once.
Yeah.
Holger, I think you can go to bed. Ah.
Kotora when he finds out the chef has a paralytic tongue.
I just hope this doesn't last for longer than like a few hours.
Alright, not-
Jace,
What?
I think it's getting worse.
I know.
Kara not being able to taste is going to be so sad in the morning.
Your cooking is gonna have a -3 dice roll to it. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Well, go ahead and go to bed. I'm gonna lay down and hope this goes away.
Oh, well, okay, I'll go to bed.
Not you. You're in a watch.
Could you say that again?
You're on watch.
Again?
Arthur. I love you, but don't be mean. It's your watch.
Fine.
Love you, sweet pen. Nothing back? Damn.
Oh, Asher is currently doubled over trying not to laugh loudly.
Yeah, fuck you too. I go inside.
Okay, with that, he's not holding back.
You guys hear the faint sounds of laughter coming from the other tent.
Faint?
Everyone else is fast asleep.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be faint.
I assume we're probably waking up some of the other Digimon, our Digimon patients.
Oh, is Haboku laughing at Jace too?
No, he was just confused.
You see, you see the rest of them. Like, so they seem pretty peaceful in their sleep. But they seem very content for now and very happy, but very much asleep.
If Asher ended up waking up Kotora, Asher is getting a pillow thrown at him.
But then he'd have to speak with his tongue being held. Start trying to enunciate things right now without using your tongue. It's hard, okay?
But yeah, I'll say Asher and Haboku watching. You do as you would go around it, you would also be able to see some of that glistening higher up than what you guys would probably be able to reach. But you do see that glistening liquid that seems to be almost sap-like substance on some of the trees. But that's about the only thing eventful that happens throughout the night. Whether you would like to interact with that sap or not is up to your character.
So
Asher
Jay
is
said
going-
not to eat that.
Yes, he said not to. As Asher is currently taking in some of the data of that. And by that I mean all that he can, which for the record, he does have 60 feet range.
Yeah. You'd be able to get a little bit of it as you kind of analyze it. You're not really too sure where much about it at the moment. Whoops. That's
You know,
not-
when he says 60 feet range, I don't think he's aiming for a bit.
Yeah.
He is storing
Yeah, I would
away as
say-
much of that data in his collar, in his holy ring as he can for later use.
Yeah.
It's paralytic.
Yeah, you kind of break it down in your collar, and you're able to get enough of it to, as you go around to some of the trees. It takes you a minute, but you have a whole night of watch, so a quarter of a watch. So you're able to go around and get some of that. You're able to put some of that data in your collar. You're not really too sure. It is modified in some way. It seems to have part of the tree element in it, but also at the same time, it seems to be foreign as well. You're not really too sure and able to analyze it entirely as of for the whole night, but you are able to at least start the collection process of it.
I mean, this isn't really a living thing, so that's not his area
Yeah.
of expertise.
Yeah, it is.
Anyways, but
really hard.
I mean, we come across a boss. He manages to hit with the defrag refag, leave behind a bit of this paralytic honey all throughout their body,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
as
think
well
that's
as
actually
those
really
draining
creative.
seeds.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really creative use of that, Asher. I like that. It just kind of adds an elemental element to stuff. Well, it's probably a better word to use for one of those words, but elemental aspect.
Elemental element. I love that.
It is technically the correct way, but elemental aspect is probably a better word for it. Yeah, for that, for the most part, you're able to doing that. Haboku, you are able to, if you want to as well, you can give me a perception check, Haboku, and also Asher, give me a medicine check as well.
I assume this is for a site.
Yeah.
Will my
Thanks,
medic
I like it.
special?
Go ahead.
Will my medica specialty apply?
It's kind of like the analysis. It's a very brief analysis of the It's a very very brief analysis of the. One, two.
I'll sold that one.
Okay, 6. Yeah. That just considers part of a paralytic and stuff. It can be obviously used as pain relief as well. So I'm just gonna consider that part of the kind of that first aid goal part of that aspect of the first aid. And then Haboku's been training the instinct and perception. Okay. That is good for that. I just want to give you guys something here. Okay. But yeah, outside of that, the night does go on pretty peacefully. The only sounds, as the night goes on, though, the Digimon that were obviously really, really passed out are at least making some noise for the first time, though it is very much a low, low rumble more than anything, but it does seem like they are healing from what you can tell. As the breaths become much more labored, and it is almost a sound of just kind of like that first breath of life that they haven't had in a long time. Also, if I can do this real fast. One second here. Perfect.
A generous bestowal.
Jeez, Serta, thank you.
Zeta Fox tip.
That's for the tip
$10.
goal.
I want the stream goal myself this time. 3, it'll have to happen at a later session though.
Now's a really good time to actually end session.
You are not the only one,
Yeah.
the only storyteller that has done that. Though
Whistles
thankfully,
innocently.
you did it near the end. I know one storyteller we had who gave me the tip goal, and literally I was in the middle of my introduction and they completed it themselves, and I'm like,
They
you
really
know
wanted
you
out.
you know you could have just put it in there if you wanted it, right?
Whistles
Yeah.
innocently.
But they really wanted that one.
I think
It wasn't an
that'll be a
excuse
really
to give you
fun-
money.
I
I
think
wasn't even
I think
referring
that's
to
more
you,
just
but
a.
thank you.
I think that'll be a fun. I think that'll be a fun way to have part of the next session is be using that tip goal.
As I legitimately did that.
I know you did.
But yeah. But yeah, no, I would say yeah, that is the unless there's any conversation that Asher wants to have with Haboku in secret, that is going to be the night because that's the most logical stopping point.
Okay, so minion.
Yes.
I wish to study you, to make more of you. Well, not more of you specifically, but make more, you know, undead minions.
Haboku just head tilts. You mean like they were made a lot of those dead trees?
Yeah, kind of like those.
Haboku just tilts his head again. Then he shrugs, or just gives a shrugging motion.
Is that a yes?
Think sure. I don't
Okay.
think having more of me is bad.
Excellent. Excellent. And Asher is going to be spending the, you know, a lot of the watch just scanning Haboku and poring over the data in very great detail. He wants
Give
to
me that
figure...
defag refag on him. See what makes the Haboku tick or tail wag, one of the two.
See what makes a Haboku a Haboku.
I mean, you're both dogs, so it does help.
And I'm just going to preemptively Vigor push this. Unless there winds up being no 9s, but... Oh, there's one, okay. Plus, you know, we're at the end of a full rest, so I'm getting it back anyways.
Yeah. I'll say you're starting to, you begin to investigate. You try to compare, like, Haboku to a tree, and you're trying to, like, compare the both similarities and differences. You're not entirely sure how to maybe recreate Haboku, but you do feel as you're being more surrounded with things that are essentially moving but not supposed to be moving. You're slowly dabbling into the aspect of animation, and it intrigues you very much.
Oh, it's intrigued him for a long time. I mean, he's got the Necronomicon back at back home.
Yeah.
He wants to know
here,
more, to have more minions. And Haboku will be his general.
Actually, Asher, as you were, investigating Haboku down to, like, the core and stuff, you do see inside of them, there seems to be a very, like, inside, deep near their core, is very, very strong. Like, it is way stronger than some of, basically any of the other cores that you've previously seen around you. It looks like there's a lot of unlocked potential deep inside them that just hasn't been unlocked yet. But as you look down, there is a lot there. It is almost surprising as you're investigating them for more. You almost missed it the first time as it is very faint. But their core and the base around the core is exponentially stronger than what you have seen from other Digimon of similar like strength to Haboku.
Interesting. He's gonna try and unlock it.
Guess sure. As you try to, it just doesn't seem to finagle with it. It's like the core itself is locked down in a way that it's like a puzzle. It's like one of those puzzles that you have to like put together, and you're slowly unlocking some pieces to it, but it would take you even longer than you have tonight to be able to fully understand it, but you are getting closer to unlocking the pieces around them. But it is like a puzzle box that you have yet to figure out the answer to.
When you said a puzzle, I couldn't help but think of the Millennium Puzzle.
Exactly, it's the Millennium Puzzle for the core.
Also, this is the wrong campaign for Zim's character's current obsession to be puzzle boxes.
Ah, yes. That is the twins' domain right now. But they're more interested in it for a marketing reason.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that they haven't literally spent the last multiple days in a row just making puzzle boxes, mostly.
Oh my god, I just got reminded of the soldier, not the soldier meme. I've been doing nothing but teleporting bread for 3 days.
Yep. Except with them, I've been doing nothing but making puzzle boxes for 3 days.
Hero data.
But yeah, Asher's ultimate
Haboku's
goal
core
here.
is so, yes. Also, Folger pointing out, it is not. Sorry, it's not Haboku's core. It's where Haboku's core should be. Thank you for clarifying that, Folger. It's not Haboku's core. It's where its core should be that you're seeing all of this.
Okay.
It's like almost like a replica core in a way.
Asher's goal is to figure out how this works. So that way, when he downloads the data of another defeated foe, he can potentially turn them into an undead minion.
Yeah. And like I said,
And again,
it's
he's got a bunch of ultimate data that he could play around with.
You definitely do have a, like I says, you're cataloging a lot of it. Your ring does kind of have that glow about it. And Haboku, you would kind of see this as well. You don't really feel as much any different, especially with even Asha poking around what is essentially, with what is a core, but is that whole of a core. There is data wrapped around it like what you would expect to see with some others, but it is a missing. It is it's like a balloon that's been popped, but you've wrapped it around in something. It's like you wrapped a balloon in wax and popped the middle, and there's no balloon in the middle, but it is still wrapped in that shape that should be there. It is like it is trying to have the core, but not actually having the core itself there. It's like it's trying to protect the core.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. Also, I'm just imagining, well, Asher's is just right beside him scheming, and Haboku's just sitting there, where just blep.
Yeah, me too. Haboku's adorable.
Haboku is dangerous.
He's also adorable. Those two
To
are not
themselves
mutually
or
exclusive.
others, we're not sure yet.
Haboku is puppy.
But yeah, I think that's I'd say that's a pretty good tier stopping point too as well. I think we got everyone here. Some interesting stuff, so I'm really happy with that. I'll stop mincing my words if it goes any longer. So hoping Folger would like the honey.
Look, all I'm gonna say is now you're worried about mincing words after we've already discovered the existence of dociles and talls.
Watch out for those dociles. It's deceptive.
We
I don't
also
know. I'm
have
pretty sure we're only safe from the dociles from the tall talls.
yeah. Now we have the elemental elements.
I was just about to say that elemental element.
You know, it's kind of
We only
starting to
have-
sound like we're in a Mario game here. This is kind of nonsense they spew in a Mario game, and I'm pretty sure we're now no longer playing Digimon, but some sort of weird Mario game.
Look, all I'm saying is that Zerda has gotten like the same problem of that one meme video that Zim's been loving to share around recently.
Oh yeah, what the glorb?
Yeah, what the glorb?
Why could that?
What the Glorp you talking about? That's an
Is that-
Adventure Time reference too.
It's just Wumbo all over again.
I will.
He wumbo, you wumbo, we, she wumbo.
Wumbology.
So anyways, thank you everybody for joining us today for Data Anomaly Hunter's Scar. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Patreon, and more. They're on the website as well as down in the description below through our link tree. Thank you to my patrons, tippers, and subscribers. It is your support that keeps this channel alive and going. I cannot do this without your guys' help and your support, so thank you. Consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It's one of the best ways to help out the channel, though you can also do so by commissioning one of the artists that I manage for, such as Conrad, who's joined me today on stream, as well as you can help out by subscribing to our YouTube, grabbing packs of cards to stream loots, and by just coming by and hanging out. But for now, thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to share the stream around, and I bid you all the most fondest adieu.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Later, everyone.
Goodbye.
Okay.